Welcome back, Peas. All right.
Man, did you miss Peas?
Man, do I miss Peas?
How's it going, man?
Well, we're back, Peas. It's been a while since you.
Yeah, I really enjoyed not working for money and just enjoying the time. It was nice.
Yeah, you were in Hawaii.
Yeah, it was good.
You work for
at
money?
one point, sorry?
You work for money?
Yeah.
I thought you worked for the school board.
I do. I have very rewarding work today where I help people. I stood on a point in the southern part of Hawaii after I went to the southernmost bakery in the Big Island, where I went to the southernmost bakery in the United States, and then looked out to the south, and I realized the next body of water is Antarctica, and that's wild. That's insane.
Wild. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's a pretty cool feeling to be that isolated. It's the big city to the Big Island is Hilo, which is like it's 50,000 people, so it's like the population of RDP but with beaches.
Yeah.
You know?
And much warmer climates.
Yeah, especially now.
Yeah,
So what you're saying is we should be building an island in the middle of nowhere
Yes.
and then put a lake on it.
The island of Dr. Campana.
Yeah, we'll hopefully get on that, or we're drawing up the blueprint for that island. A lot of
Blueprint 2.
dirt will be required to build up the island itself. Anyway, PZ's back. We're back. We're heading to the final 2 weeks of the regular season. Some teams have 4 games left in their final 2 weeks. Some have 1 game left, depending who you are.
We played a game.
I know, you finally played a game. Finally played a game, thankfully.
We played 1 game in 25 days.
I know. We mentioned that on the podcast 2 weeks ago, that you would have 1 game in like 23 days, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this, again, not to be repetitive here, but a reminder to check your playoff rosters as we move towards the final 2 weeks of the season. It's important that you guys look at your games played for individual players on the roster to make sure it's the 5 minimum requirement. Secondly, spring registration will open up the first week of April. The ratings will be determined around that time, I imagine, Eagle, give or take.
The ratings are determined once the regular season ends, and you give me time to process it.
Okay, perfect. So
2 days.
2 days.
2 days.
Maybe 3, 4.
It takes 1 day to process them on the site, so I'm more like 1 day, and yeah, we'll see.
So for those whose seasons are going to come to an end on March 26th week, you'll have about a 5-week break before May 7th begins for spring season, which we look forward to. I see Eagles rolling his eyes like, my bleeping God, we have another season coming up here. And so registration will open up in early April, and we will go from April or May 7th to August 6th with bye weekends for St. Jean Canada Day weekend. Those are important for those who observe the holidays out there. So that's about it. We're done?
What about the traffic report?
Whatever. We'll figure that out, though, in due time. All right, let's dive into it. I was going to call you Iggy. Peas. My bad. Peas.
It's because you wrote Iggy on the script.
Yeah, I know.
After all that work I did last week
dude,
to Burgundy, you did it to yourself.
Come on, man.
Yeah, he almost had me on Glory Holes. I was looking at it, I started laughing and go, no, it's Glory Boys. I go, all right, Glory Holes, that one. All right, let's dive into it. Let's go into Co-Ed 2, Peasler. Teams now playing their final games either this week or the next 10 days here. I'm quite fascinated by the top end of the division with bench warmers and fifth squad right now. Neck and neck. Fifth squad still has 2 games in hand. They could jump them if they win out their final 2 games left. Do you think bench warmers can hold on to that number 1 spot going towards playoffs?
Well, we got information about the suspensions that you were hinting at last show.
Mm-hmm.
Are they affected?
Is that a question or is that a statement?
I think he's looking at you, Iggs, for that question.
So
because I know Nick Gomez-Rizzo was on the team, I just don't remember the suspension length.
yes, Gomez-Rizzo is definitely out.
Yeah,
he's done.
That's what I
He's
thought.
done for the year. Yeah.
That's having played them last year. And I told Nick this too. AJ, his brother, is a great defender, but I'd say he's primarily a receiver, and he's just an incredibly smart, gifted, talented player who's just really good on defense.
Yeah.
Nick Gomez-Rizzo is a wrecking ball on defense. His ability to, it feels like he appears out of thin air, where he appears to be covering part of the field, and then before you know it, he's breaking down the flats, or he's coming across the field, or he's cutting out the backside of a post, and he's a really, 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 really good defender.
Yeah. Could have been two-way player of the nomination, right? Had he played out the full season.
Absolutely. 7 interceptions so far.
7 TDs.
There's a lot of talent offensively on this team. Lucas Kenville is not a name a lot of people know yet in FPF. They will. That dude's fast. That dude is ridiculous. Kenny Boutellier, Constance Miller. There's a lot offensively. And Gab Wiseman, while he doesn't protect the ball as much as he used to, he still runs a competent offense that will cause a lot of issues for a lot of teams, given that he still has a lot of mismatches across the field. I do think that not having Nick Gomez-Rizzo hurts, but it's paralyzing on defense. The defense relies on him doing a lot of stuff, of him being in different places.
Well, I think, you look at it now, who's going to step up, whether it is Gab Wiseman, whether it's Michael
I think he'll
James.
have to.
Yeah.
Gab Wiseman's a really good defender, too. He's not the same kind of defender, but he's a really good defender as well.
I think a guy like Jocelyn Calix will be a guy to watch out for, right? I think he has the DNA to come up with a big play at key moments, as we saw in years past with his Div 5 team with Vince Romano.
Yeah.
I forget the name of the Div 5 team now.
Putting me on the spot.
Yeah, I forget. Anyway, a lot of teams.
It's a team I had a rivalry with, too.
Yeah, exactly. A friendly rivalry with.
I'll find out.
But I think he's a guy to watch out for. He can definitely make a difference on defense as well. And you mentioned Lucas Kenville, right? Maybe not in the back end, but pass rushing. Come up with a big sack, key PD. Those are going to be.
But offensively, too, he's contributed a great
deal. For sure. But from a defensive perspective, though, I think that's going to be keys. That can make it easier for
having a good rusher in co-ed is huge because most teams don't.
Yeah,
and so Lucas Kenville is gonna play a role. Pincello's was the team.
Yeah, Pincello's. There you go. Exactly. Yeah. So I think for bench warmers, look again, Fit Squad. If they win out the final lot of games, they're going to be your number 1 seed for the playoffs here.
They have Flamingos and Badgers left, so they're the favorites in both games.
They should. I mean,
Badgers are plucky though.
Yeah, I was gonna say Badgers are not easy to dissect. They have look. We know about C-Riv. I call him C-Riv now.
My wife calls him Chris Rivers because she thought that was his name forever. She misread it on the wedding invites and thought his name was Chris Rivers. And she's like, face it, though. It's a better name. Jeez.
I call him C-Riv now.
Yeah. For Chris Rivers.
Yeah, exactly. He loves it, by the way, C-Riv.
Yeah.
I think he's brought more to Badgers now.
Well, yeah.
They were missing that quarterback.
They were like, not only that, just knowledge. Bringing knowledge because they just didn't know what to do last season. Yeah. And the thing with Chris Rivet, having a long history of playing against them and being another southpaw slinger in the lower divisions, Chris Rivet is a gamer. When games matter the most, he plays his best football. We saw that winning an FPF championship, getting to another FPF championship. We saw that late seasons where the teams all of a sudden improve.
Yeah.
Badgers also starting to play better as well. They got the win this week. They kept up with the IG team, even though they don't have the same kind of athleticism. They beat Kiss My End Zone. Like they're playing well. They're averaging over their last 3 games. They're averaging 33, 34 points a game.
Yeah.
So,
and look,
that's playoff football.
Yeah, if they do win that game with some help, they could jump as high as 5. Could be somewhere in that 5 to 9 range for the playoffs, going toward, or 5 to 7 range, I would say, give or take here. And they could be a team, honestly, Pease, that could make a run and get 2-3 rounds in because of the wealth that C-Riv brings for that football team than before.
Yeah, absolutely. The team's well built. They're solid on both sides of the ball. Marisol Pelcast is a nice piece, specifically on the defensive side of the ball. Roxanne Rashidan as well. And then the names we recognize. Cesar Garcia Diaz tried playing quarterback, realized, hey, throwing an FPF is insanely hard. Yeah, and then like back to his usual role, right? And now we see the emergence of Nestor Nassib Chavez Fayed. And of course names like Francis Laurier, Alex Godet, and Isaiah Lard have come in to sub in key moments.
Yeah.
But come playoff time, you hope that having the experienced players come in to sub imparted some knowledge, and now this team is ready to compete.
Okay, so we look at it from this angle here. Flamingos, they're on a lifeline. They're on their deathbed as we speak at 1-7.
Lifeline or deathbed?
Deathbed. I'll go with deathbed.
It was tough. Last week was lifeline.
Yeah, exactly.
So now,
and guys, let's be
degraduated
here.
down to
the
deathbed.
chance of Flamingos making it in is very low.
What do they need?
They need
They need villains. or Hungry Hippos to lose both their games. Now, Villains are playing Kiss My End Zone, so fine. But then they're also playing Hungry Hippos, so one of those teams is going to win.
But also, Flamingos are playing Fit Squad and Kiss My End Zone.
But that's the other thing. And Hungry Hippos is playing Deep Ball. So not only do you need either Villains or Hungry Hippos to lose both of their games, you need Flamingos to win both of their games against Fit Squad and Kiss My End Zone, like you said. And they're already down in terms of points against as a tiebreaker. Let me just check again. And they have not played each other, thankfully. That's the other thing I was looking for. So there's not one-to-one tie breaks that will come into play, so it's just points against. But right now, just on that category as well, they're down 9 points to Villains, which is the closest one they could potentially catch there. So
what percentage of a chance do you give them to make the playoffs?
do I have to add up to 100, or can I pick a
How
regular
did you
percentage?
know?
I've done this before.
Tell me.
4%.
Well, you have 96 left to work with.
know.
You?
I wouldn't, honestly. I think 1% would be optimistic.
Yeah.
So you have 99. Please keep track.
Yes, I'm leaving as much as I can here.
Okay. So,
Please keep track.
So
We're going to use this all
I
show.
won't.
the spotlight is on Team
Right, I'm
Rocket
gonna
now. Team Rocket. Can
No,
they,
1 second. I have to delay the show because Eagle didn't do his job once again.
Eagle.
Sheets?
I'm not going to play into the Mocon percentage game because you're
I
going to
will
ask me.
always play into it.
You're going to ask me a highly probable question at one point, and I'm going to have to give it mediocre odds just to salvage the rest.
Look, I'm an honest podcaster. I'm going to do this as we go. And if a question arises, and it will arise because I'll make it arise, I'm going to keep the percentages going. So we have Mo, who's down now because he's only got 94% play left.
96.
96.
Oh, 96. That's right.
Yeah, I said
You
4%. Yeah.
My mistake. 96 and Eagle, whose job I'm doing because I am that.
I have more than 99. I'm giving them less than 1%, so I want a smidge left.
Sky Judge, 99%.
So in that case, Team Rocket.
All rulings are final in FPF Eagle. You can't contest it.
That's
Of
true.
course not, with the appeals board. Okay, Team Rocket at 2-6. Can they jump in over Villains or Hungry Hippos for that?
Wow, that sounds like a
They
bench
have
question if I
bench
ever heard one.
warmers and Fireball on their schedule.
Yikes. Yeah, that's not going to happen.
That being said,
Maybe, though, I mean, I don't think it's ridiculous that they can beat Fireball.
Okay, but here's the kicker, though. They have lost a head-to-head against both Villains and Hungry Hippos. So
losses.
They have to result in a three-way tie, which, as we talked about earlier, is basically impossible because Hungry Hippos and Villains play each other. So even in a head-to-head, they would lose that. So
What
they
if there's a
need
tie?
to win both. If they tie, yes, tie is possible. But even then, Team Rocket needs to win and tie then. Because they need to win two.
Yeah.
So what percentage do you give them?
To Team Rocket,
Yeah.
to make playoffs,
Yeah.
0.
I'm going to give them...
So you give a higher ranked team
Yep.
less of a chance.
I'm going to give them another 1% here. There's a possibility, but like I said, they're playing Benchwarmers and Fireball, which are currently the 1 and 3 seed team. So I'm not going to say no, but I'm saying it's very
look who
unlikely.
They're playing the two of the top 4 teams in the league, right? So they're not going to jump them to 0%.
Well, basically, what we have here is a 2-horse race. Eagle, you're catching down to Mo. Mo, you're catching up. Ups and downs. That's the ups and downs of football right there.
Oh man. Anyway, so
Are you sure you missed peas?
I don't, man, Miss Peace. No, so I don't think Team Rocket will. It's gonna be tough for them to kind of crack the code and get in above the dotted line and get into the playoff race here. The schedule's too hard, man. They got some serious hitters who are still playing for top seeds in the playoffs, and so
Block Party's done, right?
Block Party is they're done because
done.
you can't
No,
catch
they have
up
no
to
chance.
Villains.
GG's.
Yeah, the wins are in favor of Villains right now at 3 compared to the 0 for Block Party. So I don't think they get in. I think this is what we're going to have for the 11. It's a question now who's going to finish where, right, from 1 through 11. And that's still to be determined because some teams have 2 games left, Peas, and some only have 1 game left. So I'll be quite fascinated to see.
Who do you think gets the 1 seed?
I think Fit Squad gets it.
I agree.
Yeah.
You know what? Like, I'll say this. I like Fit Squad. I thought they were a notch down from Kiss My End Zone and Benchwarmers, and maybe like one of the upstart teams. Like I thought maybe if IG team really fully came together in a way that they haven't.
Right.
I thought they might have been that kind of team, or maybe if Mod Like Ass wasn't hurt and Fighting Tigers were more complete throughout the season. But I got to give them credit. Like they have their same core, and they've played better and better football in the past 3 seasons.
Right.
So I'm proud of them.
I think this has less certainty of because again right now we don't know. There's no lock right now of who's finishing where. There's still there's still games to be played, and we'll have the final standings by next week. But a lot of movement to be done for that division going forward. So Co-Ed 1. Northern Braves 8-0.
Yeah.
Are we comfortable to say that they can go invincible during the regular season, going towards the playoffs?
Kiss My Outlaws is the
Are they the
one
favorites?
challenger.
But they don't play them. They played them week 1 and they already beat them. So Northern
but
Braves.
they played them week 1.
Yeah.
And was Harpersad there for week 1?
I can check that.
I don't think he was.
I think he was.
Or he was. He just played awful. He was. He played awful.
Yeah, he
I
played
remember
off
now.
two
Yeah.
TDs, 2 INTs that day.
It was
So-
just an uncharacteristically bad game by Stephen A.
More, are you saying for the end of the season or end of the regular season?
I'm saying right now, even though they're 8-0 Northern Braves, do you think Kiss My Outlaws is a better team? Even though they beat them week 1, that was first game of the year, but we fast forward 2.5 months later here. Are you confident to say Northern Braves can beat Kiss My Outlaws now than where it was back on Jan 7th?
Can I say that I believe that the Northern Braves have the best top-end talent, but I think Kiss My In-Laws are a deeper team. But Kiss My In-Laws might suffer the same fate of, do you remember the bubble Miami Heat? They were great in a sport where if you could play 11 players at the same time.
Yeah.
But like I just feel like they have a lot of talent, but their best 6 is never going to be the best 6 on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Like with Mike Piercin and Georges Garipi and Joe
But
Maris.
they're all banged up, though.
quarterback.
They don't have them all together. It's been rare that they've been all together.
Yeah, but if they are in the playoffs,
Yeah.
they're going to be the best team.
Yeah, in theory, yeah. They should be, right? But
Because again, it's just like if you're lining up 11 and 11, then Kiss My In-Laws are the best team. If you 6-on-6, Northern Braves have the best 6 at all times.
So who's a bigger loss for either side? Is Isaiah Lard a bigger loss for Kiss My Outlaws compared to Georges Garipi, who's been banged up and had a bad injury a couple weeks ago?
I mean, because they could still get Sebastien Christy Lauzon qualified for playoffs. So
yeah,
Isaiah Lard's a bigger loss for Kiss My. But the thing for me for Kiss My In-Laws is, and I know I harp on this a lot, but I do think it's the key in co-ed, is the contributions from their female players is what sets them apart, right? Like they're also going to be going without AJ Gomes for a couple of weeks, but he's already playoff eligible, so
Yeah,
it doesn't
he's
ultimately
okay.
matter. But Erica Dubois has only played a game, so she's not going to be the factor that she normally is. But Lori Willette, very good receiver. Rekha Siva Subramaniam is an amazing snapper. She won female MVP in co-ed last season.
yeah.
And like that's the thing that makes the difference. One thing that might affect them is, like the season that they won a championship with only 5 players on the field, they have less female players than some other teams.
Right.
So without Erica Dubois being able to qualify for playoffs, if they get an injury to Lori or to Rekha or like there's a limited ability to replace them come playoff time.
So in that case, then, when I look at Kiss My Outlaws, it feels like they have more question marks than
They're in a lot of trouble for eligibility purposes,
more question
missing Allard and Gomes for sure. That's and AJ
Well,
for
but
that matter, also.
AJ will be there for
Yeah.
the playoffs.
He'll be back.
Still, though, you're going in without Allard, you're going in without Nick Rizzo,
Yeah.
and if you look at like both touchdowns, targets in general, and everything, I mean, I don't know. I'm not looking forward to watching Kiss My Outlaws
I
play.
think Nick Rapini will qualify for playoffs, I imagine.
I would
He
imagine
is
so. Yeah.
qualified, yeah. Or no, sorry, I beg
He's
your
not
pardon,
yet, but
Sorry,
he will be.
Yeah, yeah. I apologize.
So like if your receivers are Joey Notaro and AJ Gomes and Nick Rapini and Rekha Siva Subramaniam
It's
and
a
Lori
decent
Willette as a starting
squad.
5, that's
It's decent.
really good.
Yeah.
You know, like it's not Northern Braves, but it's good.
But I was gonna say, is that Braves beatable good?
It's going to take a perfect game from Harpersad, right? Like,
Also, does Will Power qualify as well now? Because he's got 3 games played.
2 more.
yeah.
So he'll need 2 more. Sanders Armand as well. Like, the thing is, again, they're deep. I don't know if they have that. I don't know if they have what Braves have.
Could Ballbusters jump over Easy Fun? I mean, we all thought Easy Fun would have a tough time this year without our boy who's in Norway, Jeremy White. But they hold that last playoff spot, and Ballbusters are chasing for that spot.
They're playing Les Petits Phoques and Party Mix.
Yeah, and they didn't play each other during the regular season, so that eliminates any head-to-head tiebreaker for either side.
And meanwhile, Easy Fun are playing Kiss My Outlaws and Girl Scouts.
Yeah, so we might have to maybe give the defeat to Kiss My Outlaws and Girl Scouts. They should win that, or close enough to win that game.
Maybe.
One more game, but one more win I think should be enough for them to get in.
Also, Party Mix, just to put it out there, have 3 games left at 2 points. So conceptually, they can go to 8 points total. They're playing Justice League, Girl Scouts, and Ballbusters. So there's a possibility that both those teams actually leapfrog Easy Fun and then some other people in the Justice League and Funny Club
I
group.
think Easy Fun can beat Girl Scouts. Kiss My Outlaws will be tough, but I think they'll beat Girl Scouts. Or at least they'll be in that game. So that might separate them at that point.
Do you trust Girl Scouts to come through though? And
I don't. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I mean, at this point of the year though, right?
But that's what I'm saying. I trust Easy Fun more than I trust Girl Scouts at that point.
But even
they're separated. They're separated by a tie.
Beyond this game though, we go into playoffs. Do you trust them?
Actual Girl Scouts?
Yeah. I mean, this Girl Scouts.
Eagle, what's the percentage of trust for actual Girl Scouts?
That's not a question.
What do you mean? How much do you trust Girl Scouts?
How much do I trust Girl Scouts?
Yeah.
What are they doing?
Selling cookies.
Oh, God damn it. I trust them a lot, but I'm not willing to give up percentage points.
If you had to give a percentage.
Yeah, but you're a sugar fiend, so you love sugar.
Yeah, but it depends, though. Are they ringing my doorbell?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, then 0%. I'd open my door. I don't know who's coming.
You don't know? You don't have a ring bell? Or
no, but if I don't know you're coming over, I don't open my door.
You don't have a camera?
When I come to your house.
Even if I did, I wouldn't.
Okay, what
open
about
it.
the
Eagle?
It's like if someone calls your phone without a number you recognize.
They're bagging your groceries.
Yeah.
And they're also selling cookies.
Oh, at the store.
Yeah, at the store. Do you trust them? How much do you trust them?
Yes.
What percentage?
Anyway,
That's a lot.
No. This is important.
Call you on something though, Eagle.
I gotta go with a good 50% because it depends on which grocery store I'm in.
Oh, wow.
If they if I have cash on me and the whole thing, what the pitch is, what flavors they have. So I'd go with a good 50.
I'm gonna call you on something, Eagle.
You got 40%. Wait, before you call them out, percentage.
35%.
But they're coming to your door.
Wow, you're a terrible person.
But they're coming to your door though.
Yeah,
It's not groceries. It's not groceries.
Yeah, yes. I'm calling the on.
So 35 no matter what.
Yeah, no matter what.
Mokan always answers his door. We not know.
Yeah. I'm gonna call you on something, Eagle. You see, you don't answer your door, right?
Nope.
When I came to your house to give you those Halloween candies,
you told me you were coming.
Perhaps I did.
The Girl Scouts don't call me in advance and say, "Hey, we'll be in your area between 4 and 6 to sell cookies."
All right, whatever.
Where'd you make the video drive? Between 7 and 7 today. We'll pass by with cookies.
They give me an alert when the person's on their way, so I know they're coming again.
All right, so Mo, you're at 61%
I know.
remaining, and Eagle, you're at 48% remaining.
By the way, Power Rangers doing fairly well. When you and I did our last show together, you're like Power Rangers.
Well, it just my worry was that they've gotten laughed by some of the top talent, like the way Party Mix has, right? But yeah, they've been in the time that I left the country, which I didn't realize they would have 4 games from week 8 to week 10. But yeah, I mean, they beat Pissy Fuck, which is a great game. Did they have a full team? Against that game against Pissy Fuck?
PP, I'm not too sure, but
Free Smoke is still an impressive win. Les Bleus is an impressive win.
They lost Easy Fun.
And they lost Easy Fun, which is a weird thing.
Which is wild, yeah.
So, I don't know, man. Okay, so Power Rangers are a little better than I give them credit for. I still don't think they're one of the elite teams in the division. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think they're the next, you have the penthouse. They're in the floor below. In the
That's
hotel.
it. In the playoffs, do you want to face Constance Miller and Serge Pilon Jr. and Tam Veladath, Jasmine Farmer? By the way, Vincent Malo is insane.
He's a very good player.
He only played 2 games. He's not even playoff eligible. I just saw him on the roster.
Yeah.
I played against him this week. That dude's good.
Yeah, he's very good.
He's
really
good.
very good. He's a very good player.
Wade Chalkers Jr., by the way, underrated player in FPF.
Yeah, he played with Kevin Wyeth in Div 1. Should be a Div 1 player, but he doesn't play Div 1 for whatever reason.
I thought of him because I saw I actually saw a physical mongoose in Hawaii. Interesting story. They brought the mongoose to kill the rats, but the rats are nocturnal and the mongoose are not. And what they did instead was the mongoose just ate a bunch of turtle eggs and bird eggs and decimated entire other populations.
The ecosystem has been
Oh, it's been ravaged by mongoose. They're everywhere. It's illegal to like capture mongoose and then set it back in the wild. You have to kill it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That sucks. Wade Shawcross has to go to Hawaii and take care of those.
There we go.
rats.
He'll be the nocturnal mongoose.
He'll be the one that's going into the night, into the abyss, killing off those rats. Speaking of rats, Master Splinter.
There we go. Big rat.
I'm a big rat. I'm a big Master Splinter. That's what I am right now.
So, yeah, that's my thoughts there. Like they're in that next tier of teams, right around the Pitsy Fuck and even I even give Fast and Furious an edge over Power Rangers.
Yeah, I think Fast and Furious. I mean, I know they have the 1-game lead over them, but Fast and Furious should be higher than Power Rangers. I agree with you on that. Even though I call them False Kings early in the season, and I've been kind of proving right a little bit here with them being in 4th place. But if they do run the table,
but they're 1 point against Northern Braves from the Pitsy Fuck. Oh no, they won the game. Never mind. My point is null. I was proving your point instead.
Yeah, pushing it forward here.
But wait a second, they beat them.
Yeah. But I think Fast Not Furious could. I mean, they were a tough playoff out in the Fall Cup, and I don't doubt their skills. I think they'll be an even tougher out now.
I think they're better than they were
Yeah,
by a great margin.
Yeah, I don't think Northern Braves wants to play them that early in the playoffs, though.
Fair.
I don't think they want to play them, because if this were to hold serve, they would play each other, I think, in round 2.
Yeah.
And I don't think they want to play them in round 2. And that's going to be a tricky game. I mean, though,
it depends because you don't know who's going to win the games. It's
exactly,
reseeding, right? So.
Right, exactly. But it's, again, it's no matter how you look at it, you're going to play all these teams. If you're going to go the full distance, you're going to play all the best.
You're going to play the good teams at some point.
At some point here. So whether you play them now or round 3 or finals weekend on April 22nd, it's not going to be easy out. If it's going to be Northern Braves, Fast Not Furious, I think that point spread would be like 3.5.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
Yeah, it'll be a close game for sure.
That's my theory for that, though. So anyway, Div 4. So Kiss My In-Laws, Bruins.
Mm-hmm.
Playoff format's different this year for Div 4. But they're going to play each other this week. I believe they're playing each other this week here. Let's go double check the schedule here.
I read this question. I laughed because it feels like you didn't watch a single game of Div 4 all season.
I did watch.
Disagree.
Based
on your question? Ask your question. How's that?
No, but I did watch Div 4 this year. I had a few games on my field, but not enough, though, right? But I've had a few games here and there.
It was just a joke, Mo.
I know.
Just ask your question.
You make you screw me up. Yeah, they're playing this Saturday. That's what they say. This Saturday they're playing each other.
Yeah.
Okay, so could this be a Div 4 final preview?
No! Bruins are not that good. They're good.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. There's a top tier of teams in Div 4. The Bruins are not one of the 2 best teams in the division. Fourth and Strong, I think, are better. I think the Reed are better. I think Martin Leflag are better. I think Wide Open Bar are better.
I saw Martin Leflag play. I'm not a big fan of them. Gives me a lot.
Okay.
Toyed with them. That's the game I saw.
What do you think should happen this week? When they give Iggy cover 3 every play, what do you think's gonna happen?
Here's my thing for Martin and what are we talking Martin and Leflag for? I don't know what we're talking about them.
Because I brought them up.
Yeah, I know.
As an example of a team I think is
we're going
better.
off course here. No, but
so there's my point is before you get to it more.
Yeah.
There's let's say that's the absolute top tier in the division, right? I think that there's a group of teams below that are sort of plucky, who can give you a game, who can beat anyone, but are somewhat matchup dependent, right? So I feel like Voodoo are like that. I feel like Bruins are like that. Biselepat are like that. Hata Sports, Nomads. Cunning Stunts can give teams a hard time. Trap Stars can give teams a hard time. But these are teams that need the right matchups in the playoffs. I think Bruins are one of those teams. Yeah, they're good. They're not a bad team, but they're not that top tier. They're that tier below.
But that's the thing, though, right? If they look, Kiss My In-Laws is a machine. I will not take that away from.
What's the spread this weekend? You think?
I'm gonna go 6.5 for Kiss My In-Laws.
9.5, easy. 2 scores. Eagle. What percentage of you thinks this is gonna be a 1-score game?
I mean, I don't want to put any percentages on this, so.
Yeah.
How much do I have left?
48%.
I don't know. 10%?
There's a 10% chance. Eagle's so convinced I'm right. He's giving just a 10% chance that it's a one-score game, and he's down to 38%. Mo, what percentage of you is convinced? No, I'll give you the same question. What percentage of you thinks it's a two-score game?
I'm gonna go 25%.
25.
Yeah.
There's an easy chance for you to go 0 there and save your percentage.
By the way,
try to do Eagle dirty on that one.
Any of you play goalie, by the way?
Sorry?
Any of you play goalie in hockey?
Yeah.
Okay, because Montreal really needs one.
What score now? Is it like 10-20?
9-4.
9-4. It's like halfway through the second period. By the way, Iggy Magnets, little number for you guys. He's
0.
Only 113 yards away from 13,000 passing yards in his career.
Call me at 30.
I'm just saying.
What was your MO?
I don't know. But yeah, I just think, look, there's no question that Kiss My In-Laws, they're a machine. Iggy is like, I told him before, I go, Iggy, you're like Patrick Mahomes with a Jackson Mahomes attitude towards like the big plays.
So a better version.
Yeah, but have you seen Iggy when he celebrates like a big play? He's like Jackson Mahomes.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh man, Iggy, man, you sound like Jackson Mahomes out there, buddy. But if they're gonna beat them Bruins, can they force? And it's been tough. It's been very, very tough. Can you force Iggy to throw an INT?
Not with that defense. Not the way they play defense. Unless they drastically alter the way they've played every time I've seen them play for years at this point.
Right.
They what they want you to do is they want you to march down the field. They don't do anything to trick you. They don't do anything to fool you. They force you to not make mistakes. What Iggy does really well is not make mistakes. So I don't think they're getting a stop. They're not getting a stop playing that style of defense.
So if they get a stop, if they get one stop,
they won't.
But if they do, if they do, does this increase their percentages to win this football game?
Maybe by 25%. Eagle, you're up. It's 38% remaining for you, 36% for Mo.
Nice.
So, for those listening, this game is stupid.
Only 10 divisions to go. I have to ration accordingly.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of zeros at the end. So, yeah.
I'm waiting for Eagle to give his percentage points, no?
He did.
I did.
He gave 10%.
I gave 10% on this.
10%, okay.
He's so convinced I'm right. That's going to be a 2-score lead. That's obviously the only thing factoring into that decision.
Correct.
You know what? I'm more fascinated for next week when Kiss My In-Laws plays Vultures.
I agree. It's a tougher game.
That's going to be a tougher game.
Vultures is like that. Is like that team again. They're flawed. They're good, but flawed. They're a step down from Kiss My In-Laws and all that.
Yeah, I think Phil Roberts is still in the quarterback position.
That's the thing. That's the flaw. If it's Ben McMahon, it's a different team.
Yeah,
in a higher division.
Right? I mean, like they got the Air Force of receivers to make noise, right?
Yeah.
But again, we'll talk about that next week. But I'm just thinking, can Phil Roberts go throw for throw with Iggy? No, I don't think so. But that's the thing. I think,
and I think the issue will be the Vultures' defense struggles against that style of offense.
Yeah, it's patient, dink and dunk.
Not only that, but just because, again, you really need to fool. You have to force a bad decision, right?
Yeah, of course.
And it's a decision-based offense where they're overloading on purpose.
Right.
And they're making you have to declare your defense and make a decision. And Iggy's amongst the best I've seen at making you have to make a decision.
Oh man, his celebrations are wild though.
Of course. What, you want to be boring?
Nice.
The hell with that?
Jackson Mahomes over
It's
there.
no fun league.
Fourth is Schlong. They're on top of Group A. Voodoo's one game behind them. And I know you mentioned in your category teams that could definitely do damage in the playoffs here. Are we confident that they're going to hold on to that first spot here going towards the final 2 weeks and be a...
Sorry, who's this?
Fourth is Schlong. And be a legit contender to win 4?
Yeah, I like them a lot. Like they had a surprise loss at one point against Golden Eagles. But they rebounded against, still CRA and Balls Deeper good teams.
Yeah.
Next week they should win, or rather the week after.
You know what though? Luton are not bad. They're just disorganized. But like if it's a game where you make a couple mistakes and you let them stick around, they can beat you. And Diamond Bougie's tough. Diamond Bougie's another team, by the way.
Tricky.
They're kind of in between. I'm not sure if they're that top tier or not, but they're
tricky.
They're gonna do some damage in playoffs.
They're tricky, Diamond Bougie. But this Fourth Echelon team, they're very balanced. Jordan Lassard, who's going to Laval University next year, is dynamic. Carter Soul's great. We know about the Wrangler and Darren. He's phenomenal both ways. Nick Matty Meadows is great in the middle of the field. And one thing that I do like about Foster Schlong is Michael Caparelli as a quarterback.
Yeah.
I think he's really taken the step this year compared to where he was in the spring season.
But he was still pretty good, though.
Yeah, he was. But, there were some moments, though, because I remember in the outdoor games, they had because of the weather and being crappy at Loyola, as it was for all quarterbacks, he had some moments where he doesn't have his most spotlight game out there. But he has looked locked in, and he looks focused here. And I think they can make some really serious
I liked them a lot. I was surprised by the loss to Golden Eagles, just because I thought
it's a long season though, right? He's like,
of course. But and if anything, in the long run, it might have done them some good because since then the offense has been on fire. 33, 46, and then I know it's only 28 points against Balls Deep, but Balls Deep's is a really good team.
They are.
Balls Deep is that team again in that category of teams that's annoying, plucky, and forces you to have to play well, and they're good.
Yeah, and I think now for Fourth and Schlong, I mean, you said you have that category of elite, and they're in that category of elite.
Yeah,
and
Michael Caparelli is the reason at this point.
Yeah,
the team's good in general, but his level of play is elevated to the point where they're legitimately dangerous.
Right, and of course for the playoff structure, we'll have that hopefully for next week. I pray to the Carlo Godtown.
You got to not ask for it on Thursday, Mo. That's the key.
I know. I just thought Eagle will have something, but. Anyway,
I've told you, Mo, I am no longer doing this by hand anymore. It used to take me hours to do, and especially with teams playing 3 games in a week or no games at all, I'm not going through that again. I'm not doing it.
Hopefully we'll get Carlo!
It's the reason why I said we need to build the playoffs into the site, and we had them, and now they're gone, and I don't know why, and I've asked the question, and I haven't got an answer.
Who'd you ask?
Who do you think I asked?
Carlo,
do something.
Low key, that's one of my favorite things is when we introduce recurring characters that nobody knows but us. It's one of my favorite things that we do, and it's a joke that's just there for us. But hopefully the people at home enjoy the recurrence.
And then we get
the callbacks.
Then we get an email from the suits. Guys,
that's my favorite part.
Guys, listen. Give them more.
Guys, I didn't listen, but I heard from people that listened.
For that listen to the show, but guys, give them more props for cleaning the benches, right? Don't drink COVID, right, guys?
Who does Rob pay to listen to the show for him and give him notes?
I'm gonna say he pays Jeremy White.
So he sent him to Norway.
Yeah, in Norway. He's got
Listen, there's been no light there, so you have no excuse. Yeah, listen to every pod. I want notes.
No, there's no Midnight Sun. You had nothing else but to listen to the show and give me notes, all right, for Friday's meeting that we have. Okay, so because of the format that we have for the playoffs here in 4, we will have wild card rounds where it'll be 9 through 24 that'll play each other. But for the teams in red right now, and again, we can't. What's the proper term we can use, Eagle, to describe the teams in red? Are they the teams in red? Because you know how it was. Remember last year we had a team in red, but they weren't in red, and they were in the playoffs. And
this is exactly what's happening this time around
so
too, because
that we don't
it's
have the wrong information.
The information on the playoff breakdown right now is 24 of 32 teams qualify for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
What they don't specify is anything about group leaders or how it works for eliminations and everything. So as of now, and I'm saying this out loud, and if we get shit for it or slack because it's wrong, I totally blame Rob for this because I told him there was going to be a problem at the beginning of the year. There are teams marked in red which are not actually eliminated. For example, Loup du Nord is showing up in red right now, and they have 6 points. Top G's are showing up in green, and they have 4 points. That is clearly incorrect, right? Based on what we've just talked about. So there's nothing in here that says the worst team in every division, it gets eliminated. So as of now, this is wrong. This is just the way I'm going to say it out loud. It's
okay,
wrong.
So we don't want to say it's Team A is going to be out, even though they're in. Okay, so P's, in this case here, a team in red right now.
Okay.
Maybe In and Out. Maybe the Sheriff.
Top G's, In and Out, the Sheriff, Bandits, Les Jet Plain, Ball Don't Lie, Golden Eagles, maybe, and maybe Magic.
6 points though.
So is there a team that you think can maybe get into the playoffs? One of these teams. Take one team out here. Because again,
if Golden Eagles maybe, but I don't know.
Because even then, they're technically tied with Friends with Danny, as well as Team Ethnic, as well as Mengoose is also at 5 points. They're also out. Yeah, so there's like I said, there's fuckery happening here.
Yeah, there's a lot of disaster.
So Top G's are really good. They're just learning as a group.
Yeah.
But I played them this week. They're tough. We played terribly, but don't want to give them their credit. They played really well. They battled against a seasoned team. And the game got close, and they outplayed us at the end. So, definitely worth keeping an eye on them. I don't understand what's wrong with the Sheriff.
Yeah, they've had a weird season.
Why?
Why? I scored the first game of the season, week 1, and they're missing something. I don't know what they're missing.
But like okay, looking at this picture alone,
Jordan
right?
Taro's on the team, right?
So like Louis Beijing is an experienced quarterback and a really good defender. Alex Noel, Kareem Chilcott, Merrick Lozon, Joey Notaro. Like, it's a good team.
Yeah, it's I don't know. They're not clicking chemistry wise. I don't know what it is. Like, and Louis had these weird like moments of he's trying to finesse and then he gets picked off. And
I will say I haven't caught a ton of their games, but it does feel like he's doing too much. Like, just hit the open receiver, man.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know.
He sometimes he tries to break the rush when he doesn't need to. And having played with him in co-ed last season, it's a great teammate to have. He doesn't do it because like he's trying to be the hero or anything. He just wants to make a play to help his team.
Yeah.
Right? And he knows he's a athletic marvel and all that. So like he's not doing it in a way that's pompous. He's just doing it in a way because he wants his team to succeed. And he feels as though the ball in his hands and making plays is the way to do it. Look, man, if you were to tell me before the season that they need to beat Team Ethnic, Mofos, and Besset Lepote, yeah, they're probably underdogs in all those games because the way the season shaked up. But would you be ultimately surprised if they won all 3 games?
No, I think they'll beat
based on the talent on that team.
They'll beat Team Ethnic. Mofos is a
be close.
Besset is going to be tough.
Yeah,
that with Fred Paquette Barreau at quarterback, that's going to be tough. So I think they can take 2 out of 3, and that would be
would be enough.
That would be more borderline enough to get into the playoffs
because they'd have 3 wins and a tie.
Yeah.
So 7 points. There's a lot of those teams at the bottom that are not going to get a win. So
yeah, so I think 7 would be the bare minimum to scrape by.
Baby Magic tearing it up in Div 5, but Div 4 they're struggling a little, especially end of game scenarios.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to plague them rest of the way through.
Yeah, the Sheriff's team I'm circling. I'll have their game Monday, so I'll see Monday how they do against Team. I think they should win that game. I think they're favorites by at least 4.5, if not 5.5 in that game against Team Ethnic. And if they do beat Team Ethnic, it might put Team Ethnic in trouble because they're kind of at that borderline of 6 points right now. If they were to falter the last couple of games or last few games of the regular season, they could be on the outside looking in moving forward. On to 5B piece as we move along here in this March Madness episode of Calling the Audible. By the way, Eagle, we didn't do our challenge yet, huh?
We have not done our challenge yet.
We can't do it now because I'm fasting as of next week, so it's going to be tough to do it next
week.
You
just smash them at the end of the show.
No, I wouldn't be able to eat because my stomach will shrink. It's not gonna work out for me.
Oh, yeah, of course.
What if we blend it into a milkshake?
No.
You drink it?
No, I can't.
Is this like your broken finger again where you can't throw a ball? Oh, my stomach.
Listen, I can't throw a ball either. It hasn't stopped me.
Man, like,
what percentage do you think your stomach shrinks?
Hey, I'll ask the questions right here.
You know what? It does. You know what? By the dog days is usually fast 18 and beyond, like from 18 to 24, because it's like you're halfway through, but you still have halfway to go type of thing. But trust me, by the time you're like 18, 19 fast, you just want to eat. Like you just,
yeah, I know.
You just look at food like, okay.
I've told you I've done it once.
Yeah,
and I had a similar experience that eating becomes a chore by halfway through. And then at the end, it's the most awesome thing in the world.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, that feast is great.
Like the first 2 days, like you're flying out of the gates, like amazing, man, I can do this. And then by the time like week 3 comes, like, man, I want this to be over with. Let's go.
It's like covering FPF in week 7 and 8 and 9.
Yeah, it's the worst. Okay, prime time. Did they provide the blueprint to neuter Killer Race? Because they tied him.
So one thing to point out, Tyler Gerbrig's hurt. He has a calf strain. He should be back for playoffs, but
those are tricky though.
Didn't play.
Those are tricky though.
Yeah, of course.
Kevin Durant.
Yeah, for sure. Look, the primetime defense is what they've been known for. They're good, but like Curtis Ryan's great. Played with him this week. Chris Genio, I love him as a snapper. Evan White, really good too. Donovan Hines, really good. Like it's a great receiving core top to bottom.
Yeah.
But man, not having Tyler Gerbrig still hurts. He's really good.
It's a big loss.
So I also noticed primetime bringing Jake Applebaum in as a receiver.
Yeah, I noticed that.
A smart decision for developing quarterback. That said, there were 8 interceptions thrown in this game. So I don't think the blueprint is throwing 4 interceptions.
No, of course.
Like if you picked off Tyler Bianchi 4 times, it's not gonna happen often. And when you do, you better not also throw 4 interceptions because, like, yeah, cool, you caught them in that moment. But I don't know. I don't think the blueprint is that. I think the blueprint is causing the interceptions and then capitalizing on them.
Well, defensive Bianchi threw the last play of the game. He threw an INT to George Georgiotis, right? So,
well, at that point he's trying to make a play. It doesn't matter
to win the game, essentially, right? So, but you look at Killer Rays. They're a machine. They have been a great force the last couple of seasons at FPF. And perhaps primetime may have given them, and this is something that teams will all have to go through, right? That tricky game, right? Nothing's going to be like you're not going to 18-point teams every single week. You're going to have a game like this where it's going to be ugly. And even though they didn't lose the game for Killer Rays, perhaps that is a wake up call for them to say, look, we're going to the final 2 games of the regular season plus playoffs, and once we get into playoffs, it's a one and done, and we can't have this type of average game at that point in the regulars of the playoffs, whether we're playing round 1, round 2, round 3, or the finals down the road.
Yeah, agreed. But again, like it's better it happens specifically this part of the season. Teams kind of fall. The top teams kind of fall asleep a little, and
they get bored, right? Like
it's better it happens now. And again, I don't put as much stock into it because, like, heading into this past week, Tyler Gerberg 15 catches, 10 touchdowns. 1 every catch and a half is a touchdown. It matters to not have him on the field. He's their big play receiver. He's the guy who stretches the field for them.
Yeah, and Rays will play Vic in the Box the last week of the season, so it's a good test, right? Like that could be a playoff matchup.
Yeah, absolutely,
could be, right? And that's a good test for Vic in the Box too, right? Because they're being chased by Warriors for first place, so they might not even get the top spot in their division.
Yep.
Going towards playoffs as well.
I think the part that's interesting about the Killer Rays primetime game is that I was like, oh, well, maybe they played a clock management game, right, and tried to like keep possessions away. Like, no, both teams got 8 possessions. Technically, primetime had 9, but they had 1 play at the end of the first half, so I took that one out. But that means that there were a significant amount of stops in this game, right? Like, that's something I don't think Killer Rays have run into very much this season. And so that's the part that's interesting to me in terms of how Primetime built their defense around shutting them down, essentially.
And if I'm not mistaken, don't they have like a history? Didn't they play against each other in Div 6 and stuff? Like, don't they know each other?
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like, it's an ugly game. If the game is going to be that way, I think it specifically gives Primetime an advantage. I don't consider it a blueprint by which most teams can successfully compete against Killer Rays.
Right. Who's your dark horse going towards?
Ooh, dark horse talk.
Yeah, I got one.
You guys were so weird with dark horses last week. You're like, who's a dark horse? It's like this team. No, but they have to have a chance of winning. But that's not dark horse now, is it? Which one of the top teams are a dark horse?
I got Team Sexy as my dark horse.
Give me.
I just love, like, I remember watching this team play for the first time when we had the return to play in winter of 2022. And they were just like, they didn't know what to do, right? They were just bragging, dragging, and doing what they had to do. But I think.
What do you think is their best quality?
Their uniforms.
Is that quality, though?
This is called quality uniform. I'm curious to know what the material is.
It's a quality uniform.
It's a quality uniform. But you look
But it's ripping. Look, you can see the guy's sleeves are ripping. I don't think that's a good quality there, Mo.
It's just the wear and tear. Like Sam Anastopoulos, right? He's had a great season for Team Sexy. I remember watching him the first time to see where he is. They have dynamic receivers on that team, and if they can get steady quarterback play, I think they can definitely get by, for sure, 1 round, perhaps 2 rounds in the playoffs. So that's my dark horse going to the final 2 weeks of the regular season towards playoffs. And the premier, Philippe Couillard, is playing for them as well.
It's a lot, like, I guess Red Dragons don't really qualify as a dark horse. They got 5 wins.
You didn't like the Red Dragons, though. You were off their bandwagon.
I know, but
I told you they're a good team, though.
Man.
They're a good team.
258 points.
I'm telling you, they're a good team, these guys.
Update for this division, by the way. Again, same thing with the red teams. And right now, him, you, and no pun intended are currently showing as red. Actually, Brewers and Wolf are the ones that are eliminated right now. So, yeah.
I don't hate him. I think there's something there. Although I don't know if it'll all come together this season. Pranav Sharma's played better.
Did you trust him as a quarterback, though?
No. The 40% completion percentage is an issue. The 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio is an issue. He's got to just chill. Like, he's got to not take shots constantly.
But that's just peer pressure in the huddle from his team.
Tell everyone my advice, and hopefully they listen to the show and they won't remember this. Is when someone gives you advice, you say, "Oh yeah, totally, yeah, I'll come right back to it. When we get closer," or later in the game, second down, second half, we'll run that play. Just be positive, but then run your offense. Just run your offense, bro.
Yeah, I don't know if I could trust Sharma as a quarterback.
Well, but that's the thing with the dark horse. Like, dude, it's not going to be a team that's got everything figured out, right? Like,
no.
Like even I want to do primetime because we just covered them. But primetime probably, if they weren't in the previous segment, I probably would have used them. No punt intended, but they're not scoring enough to my liking. I don't know. I mean, they put a 33 against penetrators. Carter Souls, like, he always looks like he's close to figuring it out. Jacob Souls.
Right.
And, Carter Condon is probably one of the best two-way players in the division. So is Matthew Cadigan.
Can we look at Pocket Rockets too? They're playing Blues and Ball So Hard U. They get to a 500 record potentially and make some noise in the playoffs type of thing.
Blues against points scored worry me. You need to score points in playoffs if you're going to be a legitimate dark horse. Like, to put it in perspective, they've scored less points. They've scored 25 less points than Brewers. I know Brewers have played an extra game, but 25 points is basically an extra game.
Right.
So they're scoring at the same rate as Brewers, basically.
Yeah.
That's not strong enough, I don't think.
Pro tip for teams, by the way, if you name your team dark horses, we have to talk about you every week. That's the rule.
Horse. You're the dark horse.
Like, who's the dark horse? I can't not name your team.
Yeah.
Gotta do it.
What's the percentage of not naming the team if their team dark horses if we talk about dark horses?
Ooh, that's pretty good. Unfortunately, I don't have to answer these questions. I'm under no contractual obligation like you guys are.
Yep, exactly. We spoke about it before. Vic in the Box. They got that big game coming up, last game of the year. But Warriors just chased them for first, and they have 2 games in hand. Could we put Warriors as the likely first place finisher in this group?
Jeff Ty has been really good, man. 41 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, completing over 60%. It's all the things you want when you're looking for quarterback success. Like, they lost by a point to Team Sexy. Like, if they convert one more time and Team Sexy doesn't, do we even have this conversation? So it's like, is a margin of error literally 1 extra point?
Right.
Like,
could be. Could have been, but Warriors though have Red Dragons coming up, and they lose that game. They still control their destiny for number 1 in their group.
And Vic and Box have a tougher game against Killer Rays.
Yeah, it's they both have tough endings at the end of the year. But Warriors, Mitch Furgenbaum, we know him very well. It's not been the most. I mean, he's only played 5 games, but in defense of what he's done. But in those 5 games, I mean, he hasn't thrown for many yards. So you think about the average yards per game that he's had, just shy of 200 per game.
But add 143 rushing yards.
Yeah, he's a 2-way player at that point.
So, but that's the thing is, like, you got to consider that yard because that yardage still counts as yardage.
Yeah, it's positive yards, right?
So, like, yes, it is positive
yards.
So, but he'd be at 1,085 yards in 5 games.
Right.
So he's putting up 200 yards a game.
Right. So
that's fine.
It's fine, but now, with them having 3 games left, are you confident enough that if they lose 1 game, if they lose 1 of the last 3 games, will that be enough to get into that final spot as the top team over Vic in the Box from Group A?
Eagle, what percentage of you thinks Mokan pivoted after I caught him not counting the rushing yards?
5%.
Really?
Yeah.
You thought Mo was planning that?
Maybe a little bit.
Dishonest podcaster. Mokan, what's the percentage that I caught you there?
3.8%.
3 points. Yeah, not 3 points. 3%? Fine. You're both liars. I got you 1,000%.
You got that.
Sorry, what was your question? I couldn't think of it because I was like,
even if
what a pivot.
If Warriors lose 1 of the final 3 games, do they still get the top spot? You got 3 games, and Vic and Box has 1 more, and that last game is not going to be easy for Vic and the Box.
Well, no, because I think Vic and Box will lose that game. So I think Warriors just need to win 2.
Yeah, 2.
So Warriors probably take the division, to answer your question. But it's crazy. Again, like, it comes down to a singular convert over a 10-game season to decide the top spot of the division.
And FYI, Vic beat Warriors 40-19.
Yeah.
So it's...
And I don't think it'll be a head-to-head tie. Like, I don't think it'll be a tie in terms of record.
Yeah, it's a fascinating group, I find. I know they're the two best teams in that group, like Brewers, Wolf, and Stormers are nowhere near them. But if both of them, I think we see a rematch in the playoffs for these two teams at some point. I still don't know where it will happen, but I think we will see a rematch for these two teams.
Yeah.
At that point, so we'll find out though. On to women's one. Women's one has moved towards the end of the season for women's one. As I try to get this page up and running here for women's one, this thing takes super slow to load up. As I try to buy time for all of us to open it up here. Are we good to go?
Can you filibuster any longer by any chance?
I try to.
Bring a book next time.
I will.
So
okay.
I spoke to Maud Lacasse today.
Yes. Go for it.
She's out of town, but she's gonna be returning for her game against against the bees. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a big QB showdown between Maud Lacasse and Sarah Parker.
You know who I got?
Yeah. You hate Sarah Parker, we know.
I don't hate Sarah Parker.
You pray for discordia.
I pray for Maud Lacasse to be.
What percentage do you like Maud Lacasse as a quarterback more than Sarah Parker? By how much percentage?
You mean the gap or just like
the gap? No. Yeah, what percentage more do you like Maud Lacasse? I'm trying to ask the worst questions ever.
No, I'm gonna go 30%.
30%.
Yeah.
So that leaves you with 4% of the rest of the show.
4%
Don't think that when you're out of points, I'll stop asking you questions.
I know. But you
No, sorry, it leaves you with 2 points. You're at 33.
Perfect. Right now,
sorry, 3 points.
From
Eagle, what percentage
I'm listening.
do you think Mo prefers Maud Lacasse as a quarterback than Sarah Parker?
Hold on.
Or do you think he's lying about how much he likes Maud Lacasse as a quarterback? You can go negative, and I'll add percentage points.
I'm sorry, but as an AI language model, I don't have access to information about Mo's personal preferences. Even if I did, it would be inappropriate to speculate on someone's private feelings or preferences. It's important to respect people's privacy and not make assumptions about their preferences or relationships without their explicit consent.
So tweet at
Thank
reply
you, ChatGPT.
reply to tweet at reply GPT.
That question?
You can.
I yes, that's probably the answer I'd get though, because I literally
Probably,
typed that in
yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Like literally, I typed that in.
Okay, so right now,
So which percentage?
I can't tell you.
You can because you're not ChatGPT. This is why this dude, right? You don't know what's online now.
Skynet
This
was
is how we beat Terminators.
Yes.
If you don't answer this question, John Connor's never born. So percentage. You can go negative, and I'll add points back. Only for this question.
How much do I have left?
32 points.
That's not a lot of points.
32 percentage points. Yeah.
pick a number.
25.
Thank you.
25, dude. I gave you an out.
All right, so right now
7 points for Eagle left.
in women's one, Les Bleus to Montréal U, 3 points separate, first from sixth. Iggy and I had this argument with Montréal U and their defense, and I don't trust them as a team because they just can't put up points like the Bees, Vortex, Brutes, Blue Poud, and Les Bleus do. But he's buying into Montréal U being a team that could be tough.
Yeah.
But do you trust their offense, though? That's the thing. I haven't asked you that
They're not
question.
about the offense.
I know. They're all about
You know how
defense.
much I like defense, Mo.
I know.
As someone who constantly defends teams who play defensive style, they're 5-3, man. They've allowed only 140 points in 8 games. They're ridiculously talented on defense. Like, historically good. Right? So, like, Rosalie Landry, 3 interceptions. Laurence Caron, 3 interceptions. They have combined 9 PDs. Tamara Boulanger knocking on another 6 passes. They're everywhere. They're everywhere anytime all at once. I got that wrong. Didn't watch that movie yet. They destroyed Fit Squad.
Yes, 31-0.
Destroyed.
Yeah.
And okay, I get that they lost to Vortex, who were the most talented team in the division, as we talked about many times.
Second behind
No.
Brutes.
I mean, they lost to them in the
Brutes
finals.
is ranked.
Vortex, who won the finals? The women's.
You know, it's not really rivaling to the other team wins, and Vortex finally won. Congratulations to them.
You're right. So Michael Jordan's rings don't count.
Congratulations, they finally won. Perfect. But you fucking bastard. But you know, when you look at Les Bleus and Blue Poud,
You're welcome, Brett Botkin, by the way.
yeah. Les Bleus, Les Blue Poud, and Brutes right now. is that going to hold 1, 2, and 3, or we're going to see some shuffle with those 3 teams?
So jokes aside, no surprise to see that as the top of the division, right?
Yeah.
Les Bretons Machine, Bleu Pud are incredible. Les Bleus are incredible. Vortex, to me, again, they're just fun and exciting. They tied Les Bleus, which is notable.
Yeah.
The Bees got off to such a rough start, and then of course, because that's what they do, they're back to being themselves. I honestly don't know. I agree with you that Montreal the offense will hamper them at some point, and they're appropriately positioned in the standings to be just outside that top grouping.
Right.
But yeah, I can see any of the top 5 teams taking home the championship.
Yeah, I think it's open-ended in this division. I don't think there's a definitive leader that we can say we can circle this team and they'll be playing, in the road show on April 22nd. And I think we could have a finals preview this week when Brutes play Bees, and that's going to be at Loyola, and that's going to be a fascinating game because that could flip the diagram of who will be a higher seed and a lower seed. And
how talented is Annie Legacy, by the way?
I'll be honest, I've not seen her play yet, but I've heard great reviews about her.
I saw her like that she threw, I guess, a game or two. 8 touchdowns, 1 interception, right? 72% completion percentage. Cool. Like, all right. But I remember her as a receiver, so I was like, let me open up the receiving tab. And yeah, 22 catches, 296 yards, 10 touchdowns. And she hasn't played every game as a receiver because she's had to step in and throw.
Right.
At times when Sandrine Guevehuot wasn't available. So like, or do they just run? I gotta take a quicker look at a more in depth look. Yeah, she only started. She started 2 games. So imagine she put up that receiving line, and didn't play receiver in 2 of those games.
So do you think she could be the difference maker then?
Yeah, dude. I think she might be, if not the best player in the division, one of. That she's incredible.
So in that case, on the flip side, at the bottom of the scale here, does UQTR hold on to the final spot? Ghosted has 1 game left, so they're in do or die. They have to win and hope UQTR loses out their final 3 games for them to jump into the playoffs.
I like Trois-Rivières. They're good. They're a solid team. I think that the bottom of this division had a tough road ahead.
They have Vortex, Fleur de Lis, and Montréal U left on their schedule for their last 3 games.
UQTR.
Oh, okay.
Stars.
Okay, that's tough.
It's not gonna be easy.
But if we check out Ghosted's road ahead, they have 1 game left against Montréal U.
And Ghosted lost to UQTR earlier this season, so there's a lot going against them. But
yeah, I think this is the final standings. If you look at the women's division, women's 1,
yeah,
the bottom 3 teams are the only teams with a negative point differential. And Fleur de Lis is close, but they also had a game or 2 without Vanessa Beery.
Yeah.
So that changes the makeup of the team, obviously. But and also, by the way, when she came back, she wasn't her normal self yet because she hadn't thrown an FPF in a little while.
Right.
But Fit Squad and Torrance combining for nearly negative 500 points against.
Yeah.
Point differential.
Right.
It shows you that
their
they're just
combined
not the
points
same.
4 is not even enough as Ghosted.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
We need to have like a third women's division that's in between, and like I think Ghosted, Fit Squad, Torrance,
like women's like 2A or 2B,
or like if this becomes the new women's 2, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe the top teams from women's 3 move up because women's 3 is pretty big too.
It's big. It's growing. I just think women's 2 is very fascinating because I was speaking to Lemise, who was on with us last week to do.
Which she did a great job, by the way.
Yeah, and we were talking about women's 2 now, and they lost to Carababes by 6, and the way they lost was like the flukiest of flukes of all flukes. They took a PI, and Carababes scored, and they essentially they had them dead to rights, but this blew the game away. They choked the game away.
So they pulled a Virginia.
Yeah, they did. Essentially, that's what they did. They pulled the Virginia Cavaliers today against Furman, the Paladins. But Lemise was fairly adamant last week, and she was even more confident this week, saying that she really truly believes that this team, the Red Nation, will be in the Women's 2 finals.
Alison Sobel's stringing some really good games together, by the way. We've been critical of her in the past.
Oh yeah,
and I heard her spot. Even though, by the way, I never confirmed that interview. At any point.
Well,
you guys threw me under the bus while I wasn't here.
You gave us the impression that you did.
Nope, 0%. Read the text.
Whatever.
Iggy, not literal enough.
All right. Anyway, so
because he said approved, and Iggy interpreted it as yes, I've spoken to them and they've agreed to it.
So maybe you guys should take English courses.
Okay, so they believe Red Nation that the gap is a lot smaller with them and Carababes. Do you agree?
Yeah, I actually like Linkset a lot too. I think Linkset might even be the best team in the division. But
Alexia Vitti is the new Rachel Valliere. Is that basically what's happening here, or
it might be actually? That might be. Jeez.
Hashtag hard carry. I mean, literally, your quarterback throws 222 yards and 20 completions. You get 13 of them for 171 yards and 3 of those.
But also look at Rachel Valliere's line on the other side.
I know, but yeah.
Vinny might. She's in strong contention to hit 1,000 for the year.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, 1,000 yards, just to make sure that people understand that.
In the last few games, okay, Alison Sobel wasn't great specifically against Carababes, but against Wildcats, against Cebu, against Cavaliers, really, really solid performances. Although Wildcats, she did turn the ball over more than I expected. I was looking more at the games while I was away, to be honest. So including the Dream Killers game, but I guess she struggled. March 12th was a rough day for her, but otherwise improved. Less wasted drives, less turnovers. And even Carababes did enough to keep the team in it, and they needed to get their identity win, right, where they win games defensively and getting key turnovers. And I see now Rachel Valliere being an even bigger part of the offense. And we saw on Instagram that great catch she made on the post at the back of the end zone. We really got to start saving those videos from Instagram and start using.
As long as they're on Instagram, we're good.
I know, but we need to plan for it. I'm saying. So
yeah, it's not hard. Just save it under heading. That's all it is.
Yeah, I know, but we don't.
It's auto archive too. So anyway, yes.
Yeah. So just to say that there's been good signs from her and from the offense of Red Nation, who's worried us in past.
Yeah.
But they do seem more balanced. I would disagree with Lemise that they're on the same caliber. I think that every time
it's closing.
I think it's the opposite. I think every time Carababes will play Red Nation, they'll pull away further.
So what about Phoenix then? We have not mentioned
Phoenix are good too.
They're the fourth of the top 4, and they might jump Red Nation, right? I mean, for number 3.
Look, they won a close game against Linkset, but the win to me doesn't matter as much as holding Linkset to 6 points.
Right.
Linkset's the top scoring team in the division. So that's absolutely impressive.
So
Phoenix have played a lot of close games, and they're winning them. Winning close games, I feel that there's an element of luck, and it's not a skill. It just depends on how the game goes, and if you end up with the ball last, or if there's a big penalty at the end of the game. There's a lot of things you can't control in games like that. And so when we saw early in the season, a fairly close game against Cavaliers. I guess, this game here against Linkset, a game against Lelou that they pulled away, but had its moments. I like them. The defense makes it difficult for teams to compete. They've had a lot of players play games for them, so I'm wondering who their playoff roster is going to be.
Right. So here's a question for you: of the top 4 teams, Carababes, Linkset, Red Nation, and Phoenix, who's more likely to lose earlier in the playoffs?
At this point, Red Nation.
Really?
Red Nation.
Wow.
The turnovers. Again, if Alison Sobel can repeat that chunk that she had in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Linkset. I've been a big fan since I saw them early in the season. Sorry, they have the second most prolific offense. Wildcats have actually scored the most points, which is bizarre considering they're in the middle of the table.
Yeah.
But yeah, Carababes, I think they're good, but are beatable.
Okay.
And Phoenix, they're playing really well. So Red Nation they can have a game like they did against Carababe where they need the defense to win them the game, and that's hard to do. FPF and also the women's league, which play by different rules. I would argue the women's division is even more of an offensive driven league than the men's league.
Well, I'll say this though, right? I know we like to talk more Red Nation, but if they get one of the top 4 seeds that avoids the divisional round,
Yeah,
that's one less game for Al Sobol to
and like if like a team like Wildcats or Stillus can get an upset, maybe they end up playing like one of those teams rather than one of the top ranked teams. You know what I mean? Depending how they finish out the season, of course. They do have 2 games. They have a game in hand over Linkset.
Right. I think the top 4 still is open ended, and I think that is the likely. I think there's a strong chance that we'll have 2 of those top 4 teams in the finals. That's
and Red Nation play Lelou and VC Cubs to end the season, so I think they might finish top 2.
Yeah, that's what I think they feel very confident about. Co-ed 3, Team Bustan, 7-1. They're called half and half. I call them Team Bustan.
Why?
Because if you go to Bustan or any spot like that, and
it's half rice, half potatoes.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, at Bustan, my order has been since university a creation wrap. And I don't remember having ever eaten a creation wrap because I've always been under the influence when eating a creation wrap.
Yeah, so if you go in person and you get the plate, they go half and half, right? So I call half and half Bustan.
Fair.
So anyway, okay, so Team Bustan is in first place right now, but look at more on the bottom here. Fast Not Furious, Michael Scott's Tots, Kenny Cooley, they're all neck and neck for the last 2 spots, and then you can put Block Party in there because they're only 3 points behind, 2 games left, so they still have a chance here to qualify. Does Fast Not Fierce or Block Party get in over the bottom 2 teams of this division?
Ryan Dobbs-Garnett early in the season was protecting the ball. He threw 4 interceptions for his 4 games. It's fine, but he has not had a game with less than 2 interceptions in the last 4 weeks. That's going to begin to be an issue. In an otherwise solidly played game against Michael Scott's Tots, he completed the ball. He was moving the ball. Like, he's got a strong arm, and he's playing against almost uniquely zone coverage.
Right.
So he can hammer in hooks and slants all game long. And he was doing that early. I haven't been at the games at this point, so I don't know if that's changed at all.
Right.
But I do feel as though the key to success for Fast Not Furious 3 is protecting the ball, and they've not been able to do so. Although I think the team probably has the best roster, right? Like Diana James Landry has been really good, as Alex Noel, great team leadership with Tony Lala.
Yeah.
High division experience. Tyler McPherson, Lorraine Lapointe, not used enough on offense, only targeted 5 times. I think that she could be used more. And of course, we have not had enough of Julia Paradis-Roverge because she only played 2 games. But the team's pretty stacked top to bottom. So I think they're probably the best team of that group. But yeah, Canicule beat them, and Michael Scott's Tots beat them. So if it comes down to head-to-head, Fast and Furious 3 are missing the playoffs.
I think Michael Scott's Tots will hold on. I questioned them when we were together for Valentine's Day. I questioned them. I think that they were whatever, but they've really turned the corner around. They were not that good. They had 1 win at the time, and now they're 3 wins. Iggy and I, we spoke about this. I think let's
Did you play half and half last week of the season?
Yes, they played Bustan last week of the season, but we believe Les Sect is safe. We'll give them.
Although the weird collapse midway through the season.
Yeah, that's what Iggy said. The exact same thing, right? But now, if these 2 teams, Kenny Coulee or Michael Scott's Tots, gets 1 more win, I think they will be safe for that final playoff spot. And
Canicule also sneakily they beat Blocked Party by a single point.
Yeah.
Then lost the next 2 games. That is a little worrying. Athena Ryan. I like the way she throws in rhythm.
Right.
So when the slant hits the window at the right time, the ball gets there, it looks great. When the receiver cuts on an out and she can deliver the ball, it's great. She kind of plays in the sandbox a little bit in that she doesn't have a great deep arm, but I think she needs to develop plays that allow her to stretch the defense. Even if it's an incomplete pass, be able to throw safe passes to an open receiver downfield where you're not going to be intercepted. That's going to be the big issue because teams are kind of hip to what they do.
Right.
And I think they're really good, man. It's just a question of meeting that next step. I think there's a chance that they can fall apart here. And that would be a shame because the way they start the season is great, but Sneaky Snakes are not a gimme necessarily, and then half and half on Lasek to finish the season.
So, half and half, Team Bustan. Are they the clear cut above everyone else in this team?
I thought it was Lasek, and then I went to Hawaii, and it came back to a different world, man.
Yeah, it came back to reality for Lasek. But is Team Bustan half and half the clear cut leader, and that no one's going to catch up to them for the regular season, which I don't think anyone will, but in terms of their quality that they have.
Whether Chris Ferro or Camille Saint-Méry are throwing, they're moving the ball. Their offensive system works. Gab Wiseman, a great receiver, and Camille Saint-Méry in her own right when she's only been a receiver for 6 games, and she has 8 touchdowns.
Yeah.
She threw 2 of those games. Jamal Roach, really good two-way player too. They have a little bit of an issue like Kiss my end zone.
Yeah.
That if they make the finals, if they make the playoffs, they won't make the playoffs. When they're in the playoffs, if anything happens to one of the 2 girls, Marianne Landry Duval or Ariane Boucher, I guess there's 3. There's also Camille Saint-Marie. So if something happens where they're down one of their female players or another, it might be difficult to compete. It's not a big roster. They have the benefit of putting the best players on the field at all times and the best position at all times. But the downside of that is if one player misses a game and another player gets hurt in that game, you're down to 5 players in the field.
Right, and that hurts.
Yeah.
That's going to really put a real bind into the whole thing moving forward. On to 5A. And we have a race for first place in Group B between Big Fat Bats and Iggy No Friend Zone. Do you think the gap's a lot smaller with these 2 teams here, Peace, with Big Fat Bats, No Friend Zone? Both combined for a record of 17-1. They have scored over
621 points in 18 games.
Yeah.
Combined.
So is the gap small, or do you think there is a gap between these 2 teams right now?
I don't think there's a gap.
So who's the favorite then?
Pick 'em.
I like the Zappatellis and the Big Fat Bats a lot. Nice guys, by the way.
Yeah, awesome guys.
Nice guys, really cool guys.
Early in the season, Big Fat Bats gave No Friend Zone a tough time. They won 45-26.
Yeah.
I do want to point out Iggy was not quarterback that game.
So let's say let's say they have a rematch.
It's a different game.
When you say different game, is that a win for No Friend Zone? What's your percentage points in that?
Well, 50-50. So I used up all my points in one question. In the movie Roadhouse, the villain flips the coin and talks to Patrick Swayze over the phone and says, like, either I kill Sam Elliott or I kill Lynch is her last name, the lead actress in the movie. And he flips the coin and he tells Swayze, he's like, I wish you would have seen that. And he hangs up the phone. And then he puts a knife in Sam Elliott's chest and says, it was tails. So that's what I feel about that game, if that makes it any clearer for you.
Right. Well, I mean, like Big Fat Bats have Rico Riders 10 off the year, which is not going to be an easy game. That's going to be the first game in almost 3 weeks for them. That's crazy, right? How the schedule is.
Yeah,
for them.
and by the way, it's I just went through that. It's tough to come back after not playing for 3
not
weeks.
Easy, man. It's
not fun.
Play. But I think the tail of the tape of these 2 teams here, watching No Friend Zone play, they're fun to watch. I do enjoy what they've built up with that roster. I do enjoy what they've done. I think Iggy has that offense humming very well.
The thing is, this is the highest division that that Big Fat Bats has played, right?
Yeah.
Iggy just threw in Division 2.
Yeah.
and won the game.
Yeah, with Breeze 2.0, yeah.
Alex Noel has played a lot of FPF games. Alex Laroche has played a lot of FPF games.
He's in France right now.
Sorry?
He's in France right now.
Okay.
Just let you know.
Wow, way to dox him.
Jesus. Don't go to France, people. Don't go looking for Alex Laroche. Jerome Hovington is the value at 65 is insane.
Yeah, he's great.
He's going to walk away with hardware this season. Anthony Peltier is really good too. And Lucas Kenville, which the name of the show, the player, the MVP of the show, Lucas Kenville.
Yeah.
He's fast enough to contain Matthew Sapatelli.
Right.
And it won't be in a scenario where Big Fat Bats are protecting a lead. It's going to be a back and forth game. So heads, Big Fat Bats win. Tails, Sam Elliott dies. Not the real actor, by the way. I meant the character. I would feel really bad if Sam Elliott actually died after this. Knock on wood. I love Sam Elliott. One of my favorite actors of all time.
Once Big Fat Bats get back into their football rhythm, if this game was now coming off a 3-week bye for Big Fat Bats, I think No Friend Zone would smash them.
Yeah.
But if this is a game where they're all in rhythm right now, I think it would come down to the last drive.
Yeah.
And whoever flip a coin has that.
And here we go. Well, again, guys, spare the guy's life, man.
Yeah,
but I'll say this: one of the things Iggy's really excelled at in recent seasons, the thing that's made him become what he is, because people look at the rating like, how is Iggy 71 point? He used to suck, man. He used to suck not long ago. He got really good really fast.
Yeah, we ripped him to shreds.
And one of the things that he got really good at really quickly is in-game management. He knows how to end the game with the ball in his hands.
Yeah, using his timeouts properly. Yeah.
Knowing when he's on the second last drive of the game, or knowing when he can kill the clock and make it the last drive of the game. That's an underrated skill.
That, and also not to, like, if they score, we'll give up the 2-point convert and go right on defense.
They won a game where they were behind big, and in the second half he just kept declining converts.
That's right.
And
it was an outdoor game, I think.
Yeah, it was an outdoor game in fall.
Yeah.
And by not going for converts, he conserved enough time to get a final drive to win the game. Yeah. Being down several scores early.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the advantage that if there is an advantage at all, it's not a physical one. It's the experience that the players on his team, not just Alex Laroche, Alex Noel, a lot of guys on this team have played before. So
I wish this was the final.
The one thing I will say though, Luca Lecce, really good rusher.
Yeah, he is.
Iggy's not terribly bothered by rushers, but if he can just force that decision a half second quicker, that might cause issues.
Yeah, exactly. Le Petit Carotte, they're trying to fend off Tip Top Shape for the final playoff spot in Group B.
What happened to Petit Carotte? Didn't we think they were going to be good?
Yeah, their uniforms are very bright, but that's about it.
Okay, a relevant answer.
Well, that's all they have right now, right?
Yeah, but they were decent last season, were they not?
They were fairly decent in Fall Cup.
Or Fall Cup, that was it.
They were decent. I don't know what's happened with them, but can they hold off Tip Top Shape, who have a game in hand, for the final playoff spot?
Well, they play each other.
Yeah.
And then they play Glory Boys, which is also a tough game.
That's right.
No, they can't.
What about Tokyo Sandblasters?
What's the percentage that you think that the Petit Carotte can hold off Tip Top Shape?
And Tokyo Sandblasters as well, right? So there's two teams chasing them. Like Sandblasters, I believe, right now are still in play. I mean, it's also.
Yeah, but what percentage do you give the Petit Carotte? You can go into negative if you need.
I'm going to go 1%.
1%. Nobody's using the negative.
No, I think.
Eagle, you don't get negative on this one. So almost down to 2. Eagle, what's your percentage? Of the chances that the Petit Carotte can maintain their playoff position? They play against, I just said it, Tip Top Shape and Glory Boys to end the season. And Tip Top Shape is in direct competition with them for the spot.
Yeah, and I was going to say Tip Top Shape. Actually, Tokyo Sandblasters are also in competition for them.
Yeah, I like the Sandblaster schedule. Save the Turf Tolls and Buffalo Wild Wings. I think those are winnable games for them.
Process and Whip too on Tip Top.
Okay.
I'm not buying into I've scorekept Buffalo Wild Wings this year.
Okay.
I'm not buying into.
I'm not buying Tokyo Sandblasters.
I honestly, I would put it low. I'd put it at maybe like a 2%.
All right, 5% left.
So, Sorry, lost my train of thought. Trying to get back to the main page here for the divisions. I just want to get that up.
You realize that's my goal every week is to make you lose your train of thought.
No, it's
that's how you mess with Mo, Eagle. That's
week.
how you mess with Mo.
Long week. But
boy, did you miss bees.
I did miss bees. The Tip Top Shape Sound Blasters. I think Tip Top Shape definitely has the higher percentage points because they have that extra game to work with. But I just don't know if Petit Carrot can hold on. I don't think they can. I think one of these two teams, I'm going to go Sound Blasters to make it into the playoffs.
Do you picture the Carrots holding on by having like human arms, or does it hold on with its leafy top?
Leafy top.
Leafy top. Do you go arms or leaf, Eagle?
What?
Arms or leaf?
For Carrots.
It's not my fault you're not paying attention to your own show.
Arms or leaf?
Yeah.
I don't even know what arms are on a carrot.
Yeah. I'm saying, does it have like human arms like a
arms,
cartoon,
yeah.
or does it hold on with the leaves?
It's the
Leafy
leaves
top.
for sure.
I
Why
go
would you give it arms.
You don't want to see a carrot with biceps?
I
Like
mean,
cashew arms?
I feel like that would be genetically modified and therefore unhealthy.
I mean, all carrots are genetically
Yes,
almost
but
all carrots.
what if they have arms?
Well, it's just more carrot to love, and just love the carrot sweeter.
Just make it
They already kind of have abs,
just make
right?
the carrot girthier and I'll be fine. Just don't fucking give it extremities.
You heard it here, folks.
Don't
Eagle
give it
needs a
Give me a
girthier
girthy carrot.
Girthy carrot. Very husky carrot.
We finally got there.
Husky carrot. Ballers are playing Red Knot Skins this week. Bigger game for who? Ballers or Red Knot Skins?
Better game or harder?
Bigger game.
Bigger game.
Yeah, bigger game for who?
Ballers have.
That's
I
why
say
Red Knot Skins have 2 games in hand against them.
yeah. So definitely ballers for sure, but ballers, I think also they need to know they can compete. In the way that they thought they would heading into the season against the top teams.
Yeah.
Because they've had some letdowns, and they need to show Red Knot Skins that they're beatable heading into the playoffs. Like they need Red Knot Skins to have some doubt as they head into the playoffs.
I think like Red Knot Skins, we know them from years past here. They got 4 games left, right? And I think their final 4 games all present tricky challenges because of who they're going to face in offense, right? After Ballers, they got Men's Sobriety, which of course is a little bit man down right now with what they have going through for them right now. But Ice Up is going to be tricky for them because you just don't know what type of offense you get from Ice Up. They've been kind of stagnant of late the last couple weeks here. Then Clinkers. I mean, this is a team that's kind of surprising teams of the last few weeks here. So I think Red Knot Skins is going to be grizzled playing these different variation of offenses that will get them ready for the playoffs here.
But none of them have been particularly good.
No, but the thing is, though, if you're going to pick one, like Iggy's high on Ice Up. Like he thinks they're a good team. But they've had a bit of a funk the last couple weeks here where they've not moved the ball well. They've not played on offense. But they do have...
Oh, look, yeah, for sure. Sorry, I misunderstood. I understood the opposite. Yes, ballers have a harder schedule ahead.
Yes.
But that wasn't your question. Your question was, who needs this specific game more?
Yeah. But
So, okay, I guess because of the upcoming game
exactly.
against Ice Up. Okay,
Exactly.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, in the end, 1 or 2 doesn't make that much of a difference in this division. So,
Well, I think. Well, I mean, look, it's just a question who you can play in the first round, right? Backwoods, whatever platform they come up with for this division. We don't know yet. We're supposed to discuss this tomorrow. I think.
really
I
cool.
think so. If you look at the
Glad we figured it out before the end of the season.
yeah, if you look at the email, it says playoff
I will
format to be discussed tomorrow during our staff meeting. So good to know. I mean, it's not like we're changing numbers here of who's going to get in. Like the 8 per division who are going to get in. It's a question of what's going to be the format. But I think that for both teams here, Ballers, I think they present more challenges for whoever they face in the playoffs than Red Knot Skins right now. Because I think Red Knot Skins with their quarterback play has been questionable. But we've seen Ballers play last week against Friend Zone. They weren't good. And now here's their second chance to kind of fortify their tag that we're going to put them in that conversation as being a favorite to win this division.
I have a potential false kings alert on Ice Up.
Oh, Ballers?
No, on Ice Up.
Really?
You said you weren't a fan of Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings beat them.
Yeah.
Clinkers who have struggled beat them. Their last 3 games are going to be West Island Boys, Red Knot Skins, Ballers. There's a chance they go 0-5 to end the season.
They were 4-2, I think, to start off the year.
Yeah, they might go 0-5 to end the season.
I don't know if they can 0-5.
0-5.
I give them. Look,
Which one?
I don't look. Max Marini is not a big fan of us. I don't think he's not a fan of me.
I don't know. I spoke to him recently. He seemed okay.
Yeah, Max wasn't. No, he was. He wasn't a fan of me because I called him out for his quarterback play, and he was trying to he was upset at me. Then they lost on playoffs for Rich Humes' team, but that was years ago. But anyway, I think he'll pick it up. I think he will pick it up because
Which games are they winning? Are they beating West Island Boys?
No,
Are they beating Red Knot Skins?
I'll give them that game.
Okay, and then Ballers.
They'll lose that game.
So I mean, still they'll end 1-4, man. Like it's not good.
No, it's not. It's not good any. But I think he has it in him to make a difference, though. But his quarterback play has not been great, and
they beat Glory Boys. It's a team moving up from Division 6. They beat Backwoods Football Club in a close game, and that's a team that was also moving up. Bennis Sobriety's had so many issues since the beginning of the season. They lose to No Friend Zone, which is the only real challenge they have to that point. Him University struggled more than they thought they would. And then again, they lost to two teams who you said weren't any good.
No, I'm not a big fan of Buffalo Wild Wings.
So that's what I'm saying. So like, what are you basing all this faith on?
I think he's going to rebound. I think he's going to rebound.
I think they're good. I think they have a tough schedule ahead, man. Like, two things can be true. Blueberries can be blue and berries. I've often heard that from me saying it.
That's true. Straight Out of Breath. That's right. It was Straight Out of Breath.
Yeah, that was a team.
That was a team.
I remember now.
Yeah, that's where he was not happy with me. All right, so you're picking False Kings for Ice Up.
Let's do it. Ice
Man,
down.
I'm going to take so much heat for you from these guys at the field. They're going to look at me and say, "Hey, Peasy, you piece of bleep, you picked against us." Like, I'm not Peasy, man.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Yeah, all right, whatever, man. We know who you are.
We know who you are. We know exactly who you are."
Peasy. I'm like, "No."
By the way, you should be getting a ticket in the mail because I said I was Mo Khan. Officer was like, "All right, Mr. Khan, here's your ticket."
So follow this way to this door over here, and we'll have a chit chat about what's going on moving forward as well. Okay, so I think this division is still up for grabs, and no question, I think Red Knot Skins will have the control of the narrative going towards their final 4 games, the crazy imbalance of the schedule that we have moving forward. On to 35 plus.
Okay.
35 plus. Move on here. 35 plus. As I open up the page here, stupid complimentary drop down box. Anyway, here we go. Finally, back into 35 plus. I know you've not been here for a while, but if you look at the Legends division right now, it's a 3-horse race with Monster, Gladiators, and Pacemakers. Could Monsters, could Pacemakers or Glads get the number 1 seed going towards the final game that they'll have? As you load up, wait for it to open up.
No, I was just thinking. I mean, Jason Rossi's level play in 35 plus has always been exceptional. So, yeah, definitely. And I like the Glads, man. I like them a lot. So, yeah, I think there's no difference between those top 3 teams.
I think it's close. It's like splitting hairs at this point, right? Like they're all close. It's unfortunate with the Rainmakers how they've been. I thought they would have been much more in that conversation, and the records would have been more parity within that 4. But
hey, man, playoffs, anything can happen.
You're right. I mean, look, the Rainmakers have playoff success. I mean, not championship success, but they've had playoff runs. But if they're going to make a run now, you hopefully see like a better version of Ryan Kastner, who is recovering, who's coming back from an awful injury that he suffered a couple years ago, and still trying to find his groove. So I just think right now, they might make noise, but I don't think they will. I don't think they will at all. I don't have high hopes for them.
Imagine a world where the finest didn't exist. How we would reflect upon the Rainmakers rather than
they probably would have won.
They would have won a couple at least.
They would have won at least a spring or 2,
yeah.
Right? And winter, maybe they would have gone. I think they would have gone finals, perhaps, but not.
By the time I joined FPF, they were already like having a lot of roster inconsistencies and stuff.
Yeah.
So that kind of hurt them.
Yeah. KTFL draft division right now. FPF and Paramount are neck and neck for 1 and 2 right now. Are we comfortable for those 2 teams to be in those conversation spots moving towards the playoffs?
Yeah. But, man, Craig O'Brien in the playoffs, Paul Vige. Like, Craig O'Brien's won a lot of playoff games in FPF, man.
Yes, he has. Polvige is a team that we know very well. Well, a very grizzled team of FPF players who played.
And I don't buy the Chris Olsen choke narrative. He's been playing amazing. I want to give the guy credit.
Don't worry, he's gonna have a nice 3 INT game in the playoffs.
Did they play their semifinal games?
No, did they?
There's week 9 and then there's SF.
Oh, they did.
My excuse is that I was in Hawaii for 2 weeks.
My excuse is that I was busy with broadcasting this week.
But there's week 11? I don't understand.
Schedule's so screwed up.
Playoffs? Yeah. I don't get this format. All right, cool. Yeah. So
Polvige lost.
Polvige lost, and I don't get the Chris Olsen choking narrative because they won. Eagle, can you delete the last 8 minutes of the show?
Nope.
Yeah. No, we're not deleting that. Okay, we apologize. We lost track of. We thought the playoffs would begin next week, not this week. Our apologies.
Excellent coverage today.
And now wrap it up for 35.
Thank you for tuning in 35 Plus. Sorry we wasted your time. We love you. It's hard to follow because you play on another planet.
You literally play on the Ontario border of Montreal. Okay, so I guess we're going to be awarding the first championship next week.
Award winners, 35 Plus.
We apologize, the guys. I know you guys want coverage, but honestly, it's our fault. We didn't realize it was playoffs.
Whose fault would it be? Who else's fault? Would it be their own fault when you say it's Eagle? What percentage of the fault goes to us?
All of it.
But
so
whatever percentage I have left is all yours.
But when are the finals?
So Eagle is 0.
35 plus.
What?
When are the finals for 35 plus? Because it's not marked on the schedule right now. So I can't say, hey, in 2 weeks or next week, when is the finals?
What percentage of this is your fault?
0. I didn't realize.
All right. Most win, you got 2%.
Yeah.
Eagle, you got a lightning round coming next. You can wager most points and multiply them by 10.
Nice. I honestly don't know actually when their finals are.
Yeah, and this is definitely our bad. Major bad.
Add it to the agenda for tomorrow. Tell the staff when the 35 Plus finals is.
Yeah, that would be ideal because are we not supposed to cover it?
Well, we don't do a roadshow for them.
No, I know, but we have some sort of media coverage now, like some representation. C-Riv goes out there? I don't know. Man. Anyway, we apologize. Who's in the finals, by the way? We got to make sure we have that right here. Polvige is out, so it's going to be Paramount against JMJ in the finals.
Who's your pick?
JMJ.
Well, we'll pick it at the end of the show, Mo. Come on.
Oh, anyway.
Wait, what's it? We don't know what the game is. Yeah. We just did that. I'm sorry. Jesus. Okay, it's a long show.
Yeah, it's a long, very show. Okay, on to Division 1.
Thank God we did all that in-depth coverage of 35 plus.
Yes. On to Division 1. Braves losing to Kangaroos. Kangaroos are going to be your number 2 seed in the playoffs. All-Stars pretty much locked in as your number 1 seed. Could the Braves hold on to the number 3 spot? I mean, they're being chased by Double Strato, Flagmore Sack. Party Crash still in that conversation, but could Braves, with one more win, that will be more than enough for them to be the 3 seed?
So one thing I just want to talk about on that topic, last week we were on the fence in terms of what the impact was going to be because we weren't sure what was going on suspension-wise. But next couple games are going to be interesting. Playoffs are going to be interesting between All-Stars and Kangaroos in terms of what's going on there. So does having the 1 seed make it worse in that you don't have games to play to eat away at suspensions?
Would they have mattered?
Maybe.
How many games are left?
Well, like, for example, like AJ Gomes, if Kangaroos were to potentially get 1 seed, if it were to have happened, does that impact it? I don't think it will. All-Stars, I don't think it fixes the situation for...
no, they're okay.
AJ served a game this week, though, no?
Okay, so then he will be back for playoffs week 1 anyway. So, okay.
Yeah, the return dates, AJ is back, I believe, at the end of March. That's when he's back.
So then it's just Rory and Sean that have 1 less game to eat away at their
But I don't
suspension.
think they play...
No, but had they not
No, I understand. I'm saying even if they make it to the finals, they wouldn't be able to return.
No, they're not back until like mid-June. That's what I was told.
Yeah, but it makes them come back earlier, essentially. Had they not got a
Oh,
week
you
by.
mean heading into future seasons?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So could Braves fall into the number 3 spot? I mean, they had a terrible game against Kangaroos. Mike Pierce said literally 1 yard drop, like lip of the cup, like, put it in, you win the Masters, and he dropped it, and that changed the game's dynamics against Kangaroos, and that puts Kangaroos now in the number 2 spot. And now the Braves, with one more win, will be locked in as a 3. But I just don't know what Braves team is going to come out every week now because they've been so banged up for not only them but the Empire Braves teams in FPF this season.
The way that Braves beat Kangaroos in the fall was not shocking is the wrong word, but the way that they controlled that end of the game was so impressive. But every time Dan Lazare specifically heads into a game, he takes that knowledge that he acquired from the previous time and he gets better and better and better. So it's not shocking to me to see that. I think that assuming Braves won't be full health by playoff time or by finals time is a fool's errand, because the top teams are going to feast on the lower teams in this division. Jeff Rosenblatt put it eloquently when he talked about the top teams in the division playing against the lower teams in the division, and how the schedule is structured, and how he fully recognizes he's not in the top half of this conversation, right?
Yeah.
But what's interesting about that is it'll allow for an easier first round. I think that these top 4 teams will be the teams advancing, right?
Yeah.
Like with or without the bye.
Yeah, I just think that it's been more compelling that how close it's been, right? Like it's been more relevant now because in years past, it's in Division 1 in particular, you knew the playoff teams by week 7.
Whereas here we know the top playoff team.
We do, but now it's still open, right? Like people still have a chance going towards the final week of the season. And we look at, say,
it does make the bottom of the table more interesting.
Yeah, it does. And now, like, for example, KGP Plus took out Flagmore Sac, right? And we've seen some of these bottom teams be the top end teams. Like, I mean, Kangaroos lost to Double Straddle, I think it was, or I forget who it was. They lost Party Crashers. So there's been close games, but for Bulldogs in particular now, they got 2 games left, and KGP Plus got themselves a massive win over Flagmore Sac to give them that buffer now. With 2 games left for themselves, but could Bulldogs pull off the miracle and get into the playoffs? They got Braves coming up, and
Party Crashers maybe.
That might be their calling card, right? But by then though, KGP Plus maybe they win out, and if they win out, then they're going to the playoffs here. But by then,
KGP Plus need 1 win,
one more win, and they're in. More or less.
They play All Stars and Double Straddle. Double Straddle's the game,
and that might be for the 4 spot.
Yeah.
But for Bulldogs right now, I don't really have much hope for them.
The one thing I'll say is I don't think KGP is a great matchup for Double Straddle if all of KGP is there. When they played last, Cutler wasn't there, I believe.
Yeah, Cutler missed I think the first 3 games due to work commitments. But you think about the close losses that they've had this year, Pete.
Well, they beat Double Straddle already once.
Yes.
So that's not the game I'm thinking of. There was a game where I thought they lost the game, and I was like, if Cutler's here, this is a different game.
Yeah, the Party Crashers.
Yeah, Party Crashers.
It was with Joey Taylor as quarterback.
Yeah.
But, there's some. I talked this with Iggy a couple weeks ago. They've had, I think, like 3 or 4 games where they lost by 4 points or less. So you have those losses, then we're talking about a 5-win KGP Plus team at this point of the year and in a different context. But I just think now for Bulldogs, I don't know where they can get these wins. I can't see
Party Crashers.
And
hope for a loss.
I don't think it's going to happen, though. I just don't. I think year 1 for Miles Gibbon in Division 1 has been up and down. But he knows that his roster is not at the same level as the top dogs as the Kangaroos.
I don't think the roster's that bad, man. And one of that main is really good. There's Marvin Steinberg, I think, is a Div 1 player. I guess, outside of like Thierry Javille, Thomas Coutu, like outside of like the top 4 or 5 guys, they're maybe missing a little depth.
Quality depth, I think.
Yeah.
Like Tony Desmond's a nice guy, but he's not, you got to find dudes.
Kenny Baye, too, is on the team. Like, it's good. It's a good team, man.
Yeah, but Kenny Baye.
I just think it's like Miles Gibbon hasn't played FPF at this level, and it's not. FPF is not tackle football. They're different sports.
Yeah.
So, yes, he has an advantage having played at a high level of tackle football, but he told me himself, he's like, yeah, it takes a second to learn how to play this game. And like, he learned to play it in the middle divisions and he did well, and now he's playing in a high division and it's hard. I don't think the team is the issue. I think it's just lack of experience by Miles Gibbon. I think he's on his way to becoming a really good Division 1 quarterback. He's going to take his lumps. Is it the best roster? No, but I don't think they're worse than that middle tier. I don't think they're worse than Party Crashers. I don't think they're worse than Double Straddle. I don't think they're worse than KGP.
Well, they play KGP tough, right? I think the combined total of points won between the two teams is like 4 points.
But because it makes sense, like they're about the same caliber. They're good. They're a Division 1 team with a Division 1 quarterback who's less seasoned than the other Division 1 quarterbacks.
It's
Occam's razor, man.
Yeah, I just think now it's because like I think KHP Plus were given a massive boost with that win over Flagmar-Sac, because if Flagmar-Sac had won that game, I would say, okay, you know what, I think Bulldogs could pull it off, but now it's like you got to find that third win, and I think the head-to-head is in favor of Bulldogs as the point differential, I think. But now you got to find that third win and maybe a fourth win.
Well, but there's also the head-to-head, though.
Yeah, they split the season
series. Oh, they split.
I think Bulldogs have it by 3 points, 2 points. So they have that, I think.
But it depends also on the remaining games,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. I don't know if they can find 2 more wins. I don't think they can get it.
Yeah.
By the way, quickly here, we haven't spoken about the individual award winners here, but Receiver of the Year, I was looking at it before. I think it's James O'Haines to lose.
In Division 1?
Division 1. Because you look at his yards, his touchdowns, even his receptions.
Guillaume Paquette's right there. And with one less game played. I don't know if the team...
Well, even François Lechaleur actually has another games played.
Well, but they're in the same team.
Yeah.
So I think they've actually missed games, but like he's gotten more touchdowns and almost as many yards with less catches, and François Lechaleur cutting into that workload as well. AJ Gomes' suspension will cost him. James Drysdale won't quite get there. Yeah, I think it's a three-headed race between the two Flagma guys and James O'Haine. And Flagma is one of the few offenses that can actually sustain 2 guys at that level.
Yeah.
You know, because how quickly they move and how quickly they score.
Yeah, I think it's O'Haines to lose. I think.
I don't know. I think it's close, man. Like,
well, he's got 600 yards plus, right, already. So it's.
Sorry. I read 5'11". I thought that's true. Yeah, at that point,
that's a lot of yards.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Man,
that's a Flagma Sac. Okay, Party Crashers. I think they'll put up a lot of points, and then Kangaroos will be tougher. So yeah, it's yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
I think O'Haine's gonna get
it was
this.
when the yards were closer in the screen. I would have gone with you. I would have opposed you, but no, I got to go with you here.
Fair enough. Then on to Division 6. So, Pete, I was looking at it this morning. If you're the GM of an expansion team in Div 6 and you have a choice of Emerson Peterkin or Noah Swimmerdan, who are you picking as your quarterback to build your team around?
I like Peterkin a lot. I saw him getting run over on Instagram.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, he was trying to pull a flag and he got... It was called for charging, though, so it was good. So you're saying...
Like, who would you build your team around if you had to pick one quarterback and say, this is the dude I'm building my Div 6 team around?
Can we take a moment to appreciate, by the way, that both of their pictures are from Junior, and so both Noah and Emerson look quite literally like children here.
Yeah.
If you guys want to update your picture, just let us know, by the way. Like, that's in the rules. You're allowed to update your picture, so let us know.
Yeah, please do. I like Noah's style play. If I was building a team, for example, that I was coaching, Noah Swaminathan would be my dude because he would be a drop-in replacement for a type of quarterback that I like to coach. But, man, it's hard to go against Emerson Peterkin's just general athleticism. Right? Like,
the dude has...
He has all the tools.
Almost 2,000 combined yards passing and rushing.
But
he's going to surpass that.
But Noah Swaminathan's ability to protect the ball, dude, completely... But he's not completing 77% of his passes, man.
He's completing 58%.
He's on the verge of breaking an FBF record.
I know. What's the numbers here, Eeks? We did it last week for someone, but it could...
I know it's Fred Vien with the percentage.
Yeah, Fred Vien has the percentage number, but could Noah do it? I mean, he needs to go what now moving forward? Because Fred Vien is at 80%, and he's only 3% off with, I think, a game left, I believe, in the schedule. I believe it's 1 game left.
He's going to end up on that leaderboard at the end of the season.
Yeah, he'll be in the leaderboard.
That's after his first season in FPF.
Yeah.
After I think He's not even old enough to buy beer, I don't think.
No, I don't think he is. I don't think we're not doing that with his dad. So he's got 2 games
I mean,
left.
look, I don't know the guy. I don't know his proclivities. I'm just saying he can't.
Right, he's got 2 games left now for the season, and he's at 77%.
So he's averaging 19 pass attempts per game. So in that we need 38 pass attempts. That'll happen over the next 2 games. He's at 77.1. So let's do this. 153 divided by 8 times 10, and then we're going to multiply this by 0.8. He needs to get 153 completions. So minus the 118. He needs 35 of his 38 completions in order to get to 80%.
So
he needs 92% over the next 2 games.
So he can only have 3 more incompletions in the next 2 games.
Assuming that he throws 30,
38
like
minimum.
the trend continues in terms of number of
38
attempts
minimum.
per game, yeah.
Okay.
He's never thrown 30 attempts in a game.
No, but in 2 games. So
19
split
per
it.
game.
He split it, right? 19 per. So
Yeah, look, he has 1 game over 90% completion. He had 2 games over around 85.
Yeah, so for him to get to the 80% number type of thing, he needs to
58
complete.
80%?
What?
58 through 80%?
yeah, 80%.
That's ridiculous. And worst part is I don't think that's the season they won the championship. I think that's
No,
the
they
season they
choked
lost.
I think
Yeah.
they were first
They
round.
they-
one and done.
It was a game. No, it was a semifinal. They lost, and Predators went on to win an easy final. It was a terrible game.
So yeah. So anyway, so Noah or Emerson. I like Emerson a lot. Once he cuts down.
Yeah, for me, it's stylistically, right?
Yeah.
Like Noah's for my offense. Noah probably would be a drop-in replacement
Yeah.
for me or for a guy like Iggy, where Emerson is a different style of quarterback.
Yeah.
But I'm taking 0% away from his ability. I think he might be the more talented player overall.
Right. So right now, again, for the Div 6 playoffs, we're still in that mode of it being the overall playoff standings here. But do we have an idea, guys, how this is going to play out for the teams in red? I know there's some teams who are legit red, and then there's teams who are not in legit red.
So there are 9 teams that will not make playoffs. Let me just scan
I think
through
all of
this
them
quickly
stand
here.
correct right now with how they're positioned right now in the
I
red.
believe that's correct. The
That's
only
why I
one
saw
that's
it's
like question marky is the Royals, but I think they are this is correct. Yeah, right now this is right. But there's a lot of movement to happen though.
Yeah. Okay. So if we're gonna pick one team sneaking in the playoffs here, who you got, Peas?
So it has to be a team that currently doesn't.
It's in the red. It's in the red of the playoffs.
So the red is real here.
In this case, it is
yes.
just happens to work out that way.
Yeah, exactly. And there's not many spots to be had, right? I mean,
yeah.
Demons might get in.
I'm gonna go with Don't Blink. Just gotta win 1 game.
They got to play Demons, who ironically are also chasing a spot.
Yeah, sure. Even then, I don't think they qualify. I think they might be eliminated.
No, there's a ton of tiebreakers that
Yeah.
walk into
Fine,
this here.
don't
so,
blink.
yeah.
Don't even blink.
And they're on my
Blink and you're
field.
dead.
Amazing. They're on my field on Sunday. I get
There we go.
Demons Don't Blink. Yeah, amazing. Wicked. So I'm going Demons. I
Well,
think-
don't blink or you'll miss the making playoffs.
Yeah, I'm going Demons because they don't blink, Demons. Can you look it up? Do Demons blink?
Ask ChatGPT.
I mean, that depends on where you look up your
No,
demons.
I don't want your answer. Ask ChatGPT.
Do demons
Why do we need to think anymore, Eagle, when we have AI?
It's
Yeah.
true, actually. You got a
I'm
point.
going Demons. That will get in, and if they take out Don't Blink in a de facto playoff game, they're going to go in. So that's my pick, Demons.
Did you know what ChatGPT was heading into today, Mo?
I do not.
That's amazing.
Here, Mo, watch.
Well,
You can read it out loud, by the way.
Yeah, one of us needs to read it, and it's too far for me. As an artificial intelligent language model, I cannot say whether demons blink or not, as they are mythical creatures and their existence is not scientifically
That's basically
proven.
what I said.
However, in various folklore and religion texts, demons are often depicted as possessing human-like characteristics and behaviors, such as speaking, walking, and interacting with humans. Some descriptions also suggest that they have physical forms which may or may not include eyes. Therefore, if we assume that demons do possess eyes, it is possible that they may blink as a natural reflex to protect their eyes from drying out or to clear out their vision. I've heard that demons hate having dry eyes.
Okay.
However, as the concept of demons is primarily based on myth and legend, there is no definitive answer to whether or not they blink. So, by the way, Mo, if you do start using this, or the new Bing, by the way, you will not go back to Google. You will realize Google is trash and is a terrible search engine.
ChatGPT.
Yeah. Rate me a limerick for Mo, the podcast host. There once was a podcaster named Mo, whose voice was smooth as fresh as snow. He'd talk and he'd chat with this and with that, and listeners would never want to go.
Oh, look at that. It's very cool.
There we go. Praise from Terminators.
Very cool. I looked at it today. Defensive play of the year. This is a tight race for Division 6 right now.
I don't think it's that close. I'll tell you why, but go ahead.
There's
Go do your pretext.
There's Sam Anastopoulos, who has 11 INTs, 1 pick 6. Emerson Peterkin, 10 INTs, 2 pick 6s. Avery Kilmass with 10 INTs. Nabil Khatib with 12 sacks. Massimo Rosati with 12 sacks, 4 PDs. Nino Lombardi, 11 sacks, 6 PDs. I think the numbers are great, but do you have a definitive?
2 or
sure
6.
Who?
The sacks aren't enough to win as a rusher. You need to get to 20, in my estimation. 12 sacks is a good season. It's not a great season.
We need like a sack or what?
Emerson Peterkin's going to win two-way player of the year.
And that would take him.
Right? So he's not there. Because the fact that he's that good on defense and he's in the running for quarterback of the year, even that he's even close, that makes him two-way.
Right.
Automatically. And so then it's between Avery Klimas, who I like a lot, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know if he catches Sam Anastopoulos. So I think Sam Anastopoulos and outside chance Avery Klimas gets there. But
okay, so let's just say
watching Avery Klimas, by the way, he's a really, really good player.
Okay, so let's say Emerson Peterkin was not up for two-way and this defense player of the year. Is he your pick?
Yeah, well,
2 pick 6s.
Yeah, sure.
That's the difference, right?
I would be at that point. I'm happy with either of the top 2 guys.
So who's the pass rusher would you take? Would you take Nabil Khatib or Massimo Rosati or Nino Lombardi to be your pass rusher?
If I need a pass rusher, or do I need to choose for the award?
This is the last play of the game, and you need a pass.
Nino Lombardi. I like his containment. Like his ability to contain is really good. I like him a lot.
Oh, by the way, we need to get Nabil Khatib's headshot then, please.
Sure, no problem. Pease, I need you to proofread this recipe here. Does this make sense?
11 pounds. Okay, so this is for hop-based beer. What beer needs to contain hops, or else it's not beer. 11 pounds.
It's confusing. That's the point.
Pale ale malt. I'm more of a two-row guy myself. A pound of Crystal 40. That's a lot. A pound of Munich malt will give some nice mouthfeel. 2 ounces of Chinook hops. An ounce of Columbus hops. 2 ounces Centennial. 1 ounce of Cascade the dry hop. American ale yeast. Yeah, it's all right. 5 gallons of water. That's yield. So it's wrong. Because that's yield. That's not the amount of gallons you need in the recipe. You probably need something like 4 gallons and then 3.5 at sparge. So you need closer to 7 or 8 gallons to start with because it boils off. So yeah. So it's getting there. It's not bad. They'll make you beer. It'll make you beer. Yeah, it's not a recipe I would use, but it's a recipe. It's
there
a
we
recipe.
All right.
I don't use Irish moss. That's cheating.
All right, on to Div 3. Are you taking Silent Ticklers or the field to win the playoffs?
I always choose the field because it's easier to win if you choose the field. Staff member GM Clethris expressed that he thought that throwing in Division 3 would be too low for Jordan Panetta. And then he had kind of a good season, but not great season. This, I think, is what he was worried about. He now looks like what GM expected him to look like, and what he looked like prior to his Lebensraum away from FPF.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah,
look
I
like
think
he's
the field,
aged
though.
a day since the last time I've seen him, which feels like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
Like, he looks the same.
yeah.
Panetta?
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. Okay, that's what I was gonna
You know what they say is a great part of your skincare routine. Copious amounts of marijuana. Yeah, I think Preach is a good challenge. Junkyard Dogs are a good challenge for them. Mongoose, by the way, are as good, if not better.
Right. So is there a definitive second best team behind them? Like, who's the second best team then?
Mongoose. I think Mongoose is better. Did they play each other?
Silent Ticklers and Mongoose this year. They
No,
did not play.
Yeah,
each other.
I think Mongoose are better.
Yeah. Ticklers are off this week. They'll play Black House next weekend.
That's a good game. That's a good game.
Could be a potential playoff matchup, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Silent Ticklers have been a monster this year. I score kept, I think, 2 of their games this
Who, sorry?
season. Silent Ticklers.
Okay.
I score kept 2 of their games this year. And it is this rocket launching balls. They don't give a crap, man.
There's been a couple close ones though, right? Like they almost shit the bed with Malud, and it came really close between them
Malud
and
is so,
Alpha
like-
Dogs.
I've played against Malud so many times, and even when you have the much better team, they're so frustrating to play against. They've beaten some of our teams where it's like we would lose 3 games, they would win 3 games in a season, and they would beat us. You know what I mean? Like they're always one of the most frustrating teams. They will always forever be one of the most frustrating teams to play against in FPF. Yeah. Look, they're good, man. They're really good. I just think that Mongoose are just as talented. I think Preach is a team that could beat them. Greendale Human Beings might muddy it up in a way that'll bother them.
Yeah, Greendale is they have playoff wealth too, right?
Yeah. Junkyard Dogs too. Junkyard Dogs in playoffs are a really good team.
Yeah, this play I think of the generic playoff
This-
format.
this would be a fun- this would be a fun
gonna
playoff.
The best,
Yeah.
I think, because I don't think we have a 1 versus 2 in the finals for Div 3.
And by the way, GIHF is getting better too as the season's
Yeah.
going on. Because
Yeah.
they remember how bad they started, and then now a winning record.
Yeah, I like this playoff format. I just and seedings will be huge in this side. If you're going to be a top 8, man, if you can avoid ticklers for at least, if you can finish in the top 3, you avoid until maybe semifinals. But if you can avoid them as long as you can, I think that helps your cause. But this is going to be fascinating. And that wild card round, there's a lot of teams who are close win-loss record in this division.
And I was going to say there's an oopsie here too. KGP Raw, you are not eliminated right now. That honor belongs to either Never Overtime Bearskins or Une Phrase Bien Fournie. Like
How is it getting this wrong?
no, it's because the way this works, and
It's a generic playoff format.
No, you specify in the setup behind the scenes how many teams make playoffs per division, and so whoever set this up put 4. So the first 4 teams will always show green, and then everything else will show red.
Annoying.
And there's only 4 in here, therefore
Robert
they're all
C.
green.
or Art
Yes.
Campana.
Yes.
Also, I know Blues Clues is going to be missing AJ Gomes for a week, but
Yep.
he'll be there for playoffs, and they're good. They're really good.
Yeah, Blue Schools are good.
What's wrong with Les Verges? Is it just the quarterback?
Okay, so I don't. I scored kept a lot of their games this year, and
they have 2 of the best players in the division on this
yeah, the Guillaume Ballon,
team. And
Sean Lafortune has had some big games for them as well. But
I thought Vincent Morissette was on the team as well.
no, he's not.
Okay, that's different.
Yeah,
When I played them last, I had both of those guys, and it was not fun.
right, Thomas Charles Paradis is the quarterback for them, number 8, and I mean he's not the typical LVF quarterback, right? I mean,
But it kind of is. They always kind of have a guy who's not the top tier, right?
no, but
They did have Jules Baltro this week,
yes,
and they won.
yes,
Because they had a real quarterback.
They had a real quarterback, in which I scored kept that game
with
by
a
the way.
really good roster all around it.
Right.
So do they just need to get a full-time real quarterback?
Yes, a quarterback that can get the ball to these playmakers. Have they underachieved on offense? I believe they
3
have.
touchdowns a game for Thomas Paradis.
Yeah, and like he's had some weird moments. Like he's had like 4 and outs, like where he's can't move the ball at points of the game. But we'll find out. Look, they got Alpha Dogs coming up on
I don't think you put enough emphasis.
Alpha Dogs.
Alpha Dogs.
on
Alpha Dogs.
on March 25th, and they got Blues Clues. So we think AJ Gomes will be back for that game.
Yeah.
But
No, same week.
yeah, same week. So I just think that if the Velschful are going to put it together, it's.
Oh
gonna
wait,
be,
no. Yes, he's back for.
he's back for this.
He's suspended week 11, back week 12. right?
Exactly.
Okay.
The Velschful will have to get they have to. Paradis starts clicking now. Like he starts elevating his
Yeah.
profile now. But I don't think they're a good team defensively speaking. They're a solid team on defense.
So before I open the tab, folks at home, remember we have hundreds of teams to cover. We will make mistakes.
yeah.
I thought Vincent Morissette was still on the team
No.
because that makes them an elite defensive unit.
100%, right? But
Right,
even
like-
now, without him, like Guillaume Ballon's been the backbone to the defense, but Nissim Wadi's been played well. Like they have players in defense that come up with key moments here. But again, it's a question of their quarterback play. Can they get production from that pivot position? If they do, then hey, all bets are off. That maybe they can surprise a team or two in the
Because they
playoffs.
beat backyard bullies who are scrappy and tough.
Yeah,
With Rosenbelt throwing, right?
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
it's a
Receiver
different team though.
yeah, no, of course, 100%. Okay, receiver of the year is fascinating in this division because you have Alex Joltepop who could hit 100 receptions for the season. You have Adam Rosen, who has 19 touchdown grabs. You have Thomas Couture, who has 640 yards. So all three players have a lead in one of the big three categories in this season. Is this Joltepuff's to lose, given what he's doing from a receptions number compared to the other guys who have 19 touchdowns for Adam Rosen or 640 in receiving yards for Thomas Couture?
The 19 touchdowns is... The 19 touchdowns from Menares and Adam Rosen is a lot. That's a lot to... And
if you're talking about, like, best teammate, then Joltepuff wins by far, right? Because he's keeping the drives alive. He's the check down option for sure and everything. But if you're talking about best receiver or receiver of the year, you can't avoid high yards and high touchdowns. I mean, it's just sorry, you know.
Alex David made a point to me once where he said, but if I physically catch the ball and get my team to the 1 yard line every time and somebody else punches it in, why am I being penalized for that? And it's an interesting conversation for sure. I just, like, if there was a way for us to get more advanced analytics too, it'd be interesting to actually see how close they actually are. But we're just counting numbers. Like, you know, we all see there's certain players on offense whose job it is not necessarily to score. It's to move the chains. It's the check down option. It's the person who moves. They might even be the most valuable player in that offense, but then somebody else punches it in. You know, and like if you know, he had 10 touchdowns like he has, and the top is closer to 13, 14 touchdowns, you have an argument. But, man, it's tough when dudes are putting him 19 touchdowns. Multiple receivers with games left have 19 touchdowns this season. The scoring in FPF has gone insane.
Yeah, it's scoring steroids right now with how it's been. But let's just say Joltepuff had 15 touchdowns. Yeah.
Then it's a conversation. He's within striking range at that point.
So let's just say let's say he hits 100 receptions, and his yards are, say, around 750, okay? And he has 15 touchdowns. But then you have Adam Rosen, who has, say, over 20 touchdowns. And then does that put Joltepuff...
I don't think Adam Rosen wins. I think it's pretty much going to be Jimmy Menares. They have 3 games left, man. He's got 19 touchdowns, and he's got an extra game.
And Menares scored like 5 in one game, actually, on Wednesday.
It helps.
Yeah, it helps.
It helps. You know,
so this is not cement like leader.
No, I think the extra game really helps. Helps Menares, but like likewise, if Joltepuff has that kind of game and has 5 touchdowns, all of a sudden he's in the conversation. But I think where he ends with 15, 16 touchdowns, maybe we can see either Rosen or Menares end with like 24, which is crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Remember when was it 26 that Adam Crystal put up?
33, I think.
33. Okay, but that seemed like an insane number.
Yeah.
And now guys are regularly putting up numbers that are close. And Adam Crystal was the only target on the offense.
Yeah, that's
right. So like, you know, if you look at a case like Adam Rosen, Daniel Mancini's right behind him with 15 touchdowns. If he was targeted that way, we would see disgusting records on offense.
Your voice is cracking.
I have no water. I'm dying. Somebody didn't bring me a coffee.
All right, Peace. Next question for you right now.
5%. 5% voice. I have 95% voice left to use.
All right, on to Div 2 here. We're on the last division now. Vengeance, can they hold on to the number 1 spot with no Submergent Brothers? Because right now they're at 6 players for the roster.
Yeah.
I suppose some guys.
Next question.
But they're not confident. They're a little bit worried.
It sucks. Like, it sucks to lose them for sure. They're not down to 6.
From what I gathered, they were either 6. From what I was told from the guys, that they were losing those 2 guys. They're down to like 6 or 7 guys left on the roster.
They have 8.
They have 8 minus 2.
Minus 2. Okay, they're 6. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Which means Wyeth is playing defense.
Yeah.
Well, but he's gonna score 1 billion touchdowns. Do you have Wyeth rush?
No. He's a pretty good defensive player, actually.
He's okay, but it's just where he's going to be on defense, right? Like,
he's not going to be covering. He's not doing cover 4. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
We still have to wait another full week before we get into the weekend of the record, the one where he could potentially break it, because he doesn't have a game this week. Both the games are in week 12, so the Wyeth watch continues.
We're going to hang out in Lachine on the 25th, boys.
Yeah, we're going.
Oh, it's different days though. I thought it was a double. If it was a doubleheader, I'd be there 1,000%.
Yes, let's stop him playing and give him the trophy there.
Yeah. I'm not particularly worried. It's not easy now. But you have the best quarterback in the history of FPF. His connection with James Drysdale's been real. Matt Kerouac, I don't know why they throw to him because he's old, but he's been effective despite his ancientness. Michael Kazaka he's the guy who's going to most benefit from the Submergence not being on the field because he's really, really, really good.
You hope he does.
He will. Absolutely. I have full confidence. He's been good already, and that's what having to split reps. And without having the upper division cachet that the other guys have.
Right.
He came in as cap relief, and he's been really good. He's been really good. I like Michael Kazak a lot. Don't be surprised if the record is turned over with Michael Kazaka having a big part in that.
Right.
In the last 2 games.
Right.
I think we're going to see multiple touchdowns from him on both games.
Okay, so for the playoff spots still in play right now from spots 7 through 10, are we comfortable that this will be the final 4 teams? Braves 2.0, Godskills, Party Crashers, Blue, and 450, or can KGP jump into that and take out one of these teams? And Killer Bees are officially eliminated, by the way. So KGP still has a chance, but can they get in there and ruin one of these teams here, whether it's Godskills, Party Crashers, Blue, 450, and Braves 2.0, I think is okay.
I mean, the most obvious one is Touchfoot, but I don't know. The show has to end soon. I'm dying.
Yeah, we're dying. We have one more question.
I know. KGP plays Touch 450, and then Touch 450 plays Party Crashers Blue. Yeah, KGP's making playoffs. To everyone's dismay, because they're annoying in the playoffs. Because they got to striking distance without the quarterback, and now they have the quarterback, and they're better in the playoffs. It's they're gonna have to play Vengeance, but you know what? Vengeance without the full team. I know I just said I'm not worried, but you know what? If there's a guy who can find a way to pick on Kevin Wyeth on defense, that might be Cutler, right?
Right.
Somebody who is smart and with the wily skills of Cutler. I always am scared to say his first name because I always want to say Jay. Smoking Phil Cutler.
Okay then. All right, since your voice is down, we'll get to the last question now. Anthony Brisebois, is he the heavy favorite to win Receiver of the Year?
Yeah, I think so. He's highly targeted. One of the most dynamic receivers in the division. I would guess. I wouldn't say lock necessarily, but I have 95% left after I use 5% of my voice.
Yeah.
So I'm putting 95% of this ridiculous game onto Anthony Brisebois. Although, man, Drysdale's close. Because he's got more touchdowns already, and he's got a game in hand. And maybe the load goes to Drysdale.
Well, Brisebois, by the way, if he puts up 3 more seasons of, say, 400-plus yards or 500-plus yards, he will hit 10,000 by maybe the end of the year. End of this calendar.
Is that even leaderboard, though?
No. I'm just saying that he's on he's closing in 10,000 for his career. So
does that count playoffs or Fall Cup?
I'm just looking at the stats right now on the team page right now on his.
So it doesn't count. He's already passed 10,000.
He probably has, yeah.
Because you have to truly look at Fall Cup.
Yeah. So if you factor in, he's probably closing in very closely to 10K. It is now time for
Games of the Week.
That's the spirits.
All right, let's go through this. We're gonna start with Division
before we do this, I do have a graphic for Final Thoughts.
All right.
So when I'm watching Final Thoughts, I'm gonna send you the graphic.
Perfect.
And you'll have to put it up as I'm saying it.
Okay, perfect. Coed 2, Fit Squad Flamingos.
Fit Squad.
Fireball Flashbang Team.
Flashbang.
Deep Balls Hungry Hippos.
Hungry Hippos.
Deep Balls.
Bench Warmers Team Rocket.
Bench Warmers.
Yeah, Warmers.
Kiss My End Zone The Villains.
Camise,
yeah. Okay, we got Coed 1, Les Bleus Free Smoke.
Les Bleus.
Yeah, Les Bleus.
The Justice League Party Mix.
TJL.
Northern Braves The Funny Club.
Braves.
Ooh, good QB matchup. Give me Funny Club. Let's do it. Why not?
Les Petits Fuck Ballbusters.
LPP.
Yeah.
Kiss My Outlaws, Easy Fun.
Outlaws.
Outlaws, yeah.
Free Smoke, Fast Not Furious.
Fast and Furious.
Fast Not.
Party Mix, Girl Scouts.
Girl Scouts.
Party mix.
All right. Division 4, Bruins, Kiss My In-Laws.
In-laws.
Kiss My In-Laws.
Bandits, Nomads.
All that talk about Bruins and you pick Kiss My. I hate you so much. Nomads.
Balls Deep, Vultures.
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 Les Jets Pleins, Les Bleus Branleurs.
LBB.
LBB.
Mofos, Bessette et ses potes.
That's that.
Mofos.
Hot Sauce Sports, Bandits.
Can't pick it. Hot Sauce Sports.
Hot sauce.
Bruins, Cunning Stunts.
Bruins.
Cunning Stunts.
Hot Sauce Sports, Les Bleus Branleurs.
Hot sauce.
Can't pick it. Hot Sauce Sports by 50.
The Reet, Les Bébés Magiques.
Reed.
Mofos, Friends with Danny.
Friends with Danny.
Mofos.
Team Ethnic, The Sheriff.
Sheriff.
Les Jets Pleins, Martin et Le Flag.
Martin.
Martin.
Division
You said you
5B.
hated them when you.
Cover 3, Brewers.
Cover 3.
C3.
Stormers, Killer Rays.
Rays.
Kill Race.
No pun intended, Green Monster.
Green Monster.
NPI.
No pun intended, What Could Have Beens.
What could have been?
What could have been?
Blues, Pocket Rockets.
Blues.
Blues.
Ball So Hard You, What Could Have Beens.
What could have been?
Bulldogs, Cover 3.
Cover 3.
Cover 3.
Red Dragons, Warriors.
Dragons.
I'm sold. Dragons.
Primetime, The Penetrators.
Penetrators.
Primetime.
Primal, Les Bleus Dry.
Primal.
Blue Dry.
Women's Division 1, Les Bleus Torrents.
Blue.
Les Bleus.
Vortex, Stars.
QTR.
Vortex, obviously.
Brut, Bees.
Bees.
Ghosted, Montréal U.
Montreal U.
Ghosted.
And Torrents, Fit Squad.
Squad.
Torrance.
Women's 2, Steelers, Wolfpack.
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 VC Cubs, Wildcats.
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 Extreme Bullets, Les Petits Miettes.
Miette.
Yeah.
Red Nation, Les Loups.
Red Nation.
RN.
Cavaliers or Cavaliers, VC Cubs.
Cavs.
Cavs.
Les Hiboux, Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Extreme Bullets, Carababes.
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 All right, Co-Ed Division 3, Blocked Party, Michael Scott's Tots.
Scott Stotts.
Tots.
Canicule, Sneaky Snakes.
Canicula.
La Secte, Blocked Party.
Let's stack. They're going to pull this.
La Sect.
And Caniculi, half and half.
Who's stand?
Canicula.
All right, we're going to go into Division 5A. Him University,
I thought that was it.
West Island Boys.
Web.
Wib.
Ballers, Red Knotskins.
Ballers.
Ballers.
Red Knotskins, Menace to Sobriety.
Red Knotskins.
Red Dot.
West Island Boys, Ice Up.
Web.
Wib.
Tokyo Sandblasters, Save the Turftos.
Sandblasters.
Nope. SFT.
Tip Top Shape, The Process.
Process.
Okay, you
You
just
said
said
both
you just said both
teams.
teams.
We're at the end of the show.
Practice Squad 5, No Friend Zone.
Your friend zone.
No friend zone.
All right, 35 plus, Gladiateur and Monster.
Lads.
Is it the playoffs?
No.
Okay, obviously. Don't say it like it's obvious. Glads.
And Rainmakers, Pacemakers.
Pacemakers.
Yeah, Battle of the Makers. I'll go pace.
All right, Division 1, Party Crashers, Flag Sack.
Flag.
Flag.
KGP Plus, All Stars.
All stars.
All stars.
Bulldogs, Braves.
Slaves.
Division 6, Slippery Slopes, Stack to the Future.
Back to the future.
Dak.
X-Men, Wild Hogs.
X-Men.
Yeah, X-Men, sorry.
Dewey Molasses, Pigeons.
Molasses.
Gyprock State University, Maccabees.
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 Slippery Slopes, Top G.
Top G.
Top G.
Ruse Crew, Toon Squad.
Goose Crew.
Texas Chooches, Baby Rays.
Baby Race.
FA Squad, Seatown Spice.
Space Squad.
Seatown Spice.
Demons, Don't Blink.
Don't blink.
Demons don't blink, so don't blink.
X-Men, FA Squad.
X-Men.
X-Men. Oof.
Texas Chooches, The Royals.
Royals.
Maccabees, Toon Squad.
Toon Squad.
Maccabees.
Why So Serious, Top G.
Top G.
Fiddlers, Betway Bandits.
Fiddlers.
Betway.
And MTO Red Blacks,
Red
Bananas.
Blacks.
Red Blacks.
Division 3, Beer Belly Brigade, Blackouts.
Beer Belly. Blackouts.
Blackouts.
KGP Raw, Greendale Human Beings.
Greendale.
Greendale.
The Stoics, Junkyard Dogs.
Stoics.
Junkyard Dogs.
The Infantry, Jiff.
Infantry.
Jiff.
Alpha Dogs, Blackouts.
Blackouts.
Alpha Dogs.
Never
Oh, you
overtime,
said it wrong.
backyard
Alpha
bullies.
dogs.
Never
What?
overtime, backyard bullies.
BYB.
Green munches, blue chips.
Green monks.
Greendale human beings, junkyard dogs.
Junkyard dogs.
Mangoose, les gros coq.
Real cock. They're getting
Mangoose.
Les Malouds, Speed Academy.
Speed Academy.
Slim Alert.
Free Smoke 1, Bearskins.
Bearskins.
Free Smoke 1.
Air Force 1, une phrase bien fournie.
Air Force One.
Air Force 1. I really like Une phrase bien fournie. I don't know why. I love it.
Jif, that's what she said.
Jeff.
Mongoose, backyard bullies.
Mongoose.
My goose.
And lastly, Division 2, Blessed, Terror Squad.
Blessed.
Got Skills, Killer Bees.
Skills.
Moretti Crime Family, Braves 2.0.
Moretti.
Party Crashers Blue, Got Skills.
Party Crashers Blue.
And KGP Touchfoot 450.
KGP.
Mo, you really need to wear your headset when you do this, because despite the fact you're a professional
Yeah,
radio
but
broadcaster,
you're
you were
cracking.
speaking nowhere near the microphone.
Yeah,
So
they're cracking though. That's why the headsets are cracking.
classic.
Okay.
What is this?
Final words?
Match words, please.
Natalia and I are pregnant.
Oh!
Hey, congratulations! All right.
I thought this was a meme or something, and
No.
I was like, "What is it?" That's awesome,
child.
dude.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Good night. Free parenting. All right. Yeah.
Hey, check it. Hey, check it. Put the place up. Put the place up. Yeah, we know what we made of. Can't get enough of you, boo, I'm a chaser.